All right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. It's Champions League semi-final time, and I think the nerves and the sense of nerves is palpable in the studio as Chelsea travel to Barcelona in this Champions League semi-final. It's the third consecutive year that these two sides have met at this stage of the competition, and Harry, I think amongst Chelsea fans, there's a real desire to go and avenge the last 2 years. In fact, the last 3 years that Chelsea have lost to Barcelona.
Yeah, it's been a tough game from a Chelsea point of view when you keep watching your side play against the same opposition and always come away with nothing. And I think, as you say, it is time for Chelsea to finally get one over their familiar foes. It wouldn't be a Women's Champions League knockout stage without these two sides meeting at some point. So it's good to have that sense of familiarity. But from a Chelsea point of view, I think this year they'll want to be the year. They've had enough of losing to Barcelona time and time again. And even if they lose, they'll be hoping that it's not 2-1 like it has been in the last 2 years. So for Chelsea, I think there is that added belief, there's that added goal to not only reach the Champions League final again, but to also get one over Barcelona, finally get one after Barcelona, and try and go on and win this trophy. But that it will start with a big result today, travelling to Spain. It is a very, very difficult task. It's something Chelsea managed to do last year, which was go to Spain and win the first leg, and then they let it slip at home. But Chelsea, they'll be viewing to do the same thing in terms of go away to Barcelona, get a positive result, and give yourself something to defend back at Stamford Bridge next Sunday.
Yeah, and that was the goal last year. Ultimately, it didn't pan out that way in the end. I think that we can speak a lot about that second leg. In fact, we've got a video on the channel where we speak about that. But there was a huge sense of frustration in how that went down, I think, for Chelsea fans. So this year, huge amount of importance on taking the game to Barcelona and finishing the job that should have been done last year. In a period of utter dominance domestically for Chelsea, the one prize that's escaped their capture has always been this Champions League trophy. And I think for Chelsea, therefore, this season, the goal has to be to go out and win it. The season, from the start of the campaign, we've seen Sonia Bonposter set the expectation they want to win every single trophy, every competition they compete in. And so far, we've seen them win the League Cup. We've seen them get to the FA Cup final. We've seen them at a point in the UWCL where they should now go on to win that. The only thing left to do now is obviously that FA Cup final, but also go and win that Champions League trophy. And that starts here with the semi-finals against Barcelona.
Yeah, when people talk about quadruples and Chelsea doing it this season, as you say, those three trophies, the domestic trophies, seem to be in Chelsea's grasp. But this is the one that I think still has quite a big question mark over it. There's still so many unknowns in this Champions League. And that is because it's so competitive. No one can call which way it's going to go, and it's very difficult to tell where Chelsea stand in terms of who are the favourites to go and win this title. But 180 minutes across the next 7 days to decide who will be in that final. It's for Chelsea. It'll be take it one step at a time, and both sides will focus on these 90 minutes. Bonpastor is a coach who knows how to win these kind of games. She's been in this situation time and time again with the likes of Leon, and she will know what it will take from Chelsea to win this game today and win the semi-final overall. The problem is they're up against a Barcelona side who are also in the very similar position. They know how to win these games. They know how to win this trophy. They've become the experts at it across the last couple of years. So for Chelsea, in order to stand a chance to get and finally win the Champions League, they're going to have to get past the best in the business and the side who right now are the ones who know how to bring home this trophy.
Yeah, I think it's an undoubted fact that Barcelona are the best team in the world right now. We've seen that over the last 5 years with the dominance they've had over the Women's Champions League. But Chelsea, obviously Barcelona are going through a bit of a period of change, as have Chelsea and had Leon this year. I think Chelsea will view that as an opportunity now, because I don't think Barcelona are as good at the start of this Romeu era as they were at the end of the Geraldes era. And that's natural, because Romeu is his first job as a manager. And I don't think he's bad at all, but I think he's definitely inexperienced. And so that does have an impact. So it's been interesting to see. I think there's a lot of Barcelona fans who rate Romeu highly. There's some who don't rate him quite as highly. I think he's a good manager, but I do think that could be a weakness, is his lack of experience at this level.
Yeah, it's a big talking point because a lot of people will call upon last season and the year before in the semi-finals, but a lot has changed between now and then. As both sides have got different managers. You could argue that Chelsea have got a stronger manager. You can argue that Barcelona have a weaker manager. So that does change things up slightly. Both sides have had players come and go over the last season. So yes, it is Chelsea and Barcelona meeting in the semi-finals again, but I think both clubs are in very, very different positions.
Well, the two sides were really close last year, and now we're in a position where I think Chelsea are as close to Barcelona as they've ever been. But Chelsea have got a little bit better, Barcelona have got a little bit worse. And it's not a huge amount, but the fact they were so close last year, and now both sides are converging together, that should make for a very good matchup. A lot of people in chat, so let's talk to a few. Piero says, come on. Angelica says, thanks. Lots of keep the blue flag flying high. I love to see it. New, welcome to the stream. I think we're not going to be friends today, but welcome regardless. Saying 3-0 Barca, I'm calling it. Love you though. Good to see you, New. Though I hope you are having a horrible, horrible day. And up the Chelsea. Maria says a draw would nearly be best for Chelsea. Beating Barcelona just brings out another side to them. Or Chelsea need to win by 2 today, which is a very hard task. Yeah, so how did Chelsea go about bettering last year's result?
Yeah, I think it's exactly that. They have to go and look to get a stronger victory than they did last year. Barcelona proved that you can beat them 1-0 in their own backyard, but that still isn't enough. They will turn it around in 90 minutes. I think it is slightly different because of the way... I look at the quarter-final for Chelsea, and the way they turn that around gives me a lot of confidence that even... I do believe that Chelsea need a positive result tonight. But if they don't get one, they proved in that Man City game that even when they're up against it, they can turn it around. And the opposite, if they get something to hold on to, I think Chelsea now, rather over last year, have a better chance of holding on to it. And I think Chelsea will know that. Barcelona will know that also, and there will be an imperative, I think, from Barcelona today to make sure that they don't give Chelsea something to defend. Because if Chelsea go back to Stamford Bridge with a 1-0, 2-0 victory, then that would be very strong. But I get what Maria's saying there, that I do think that if it's 1-0, that doesn't... I think, and we saw the same yesterday, I think that winning a first leg by 1 goal, yes, it's important, but at the end of the day, all it takes is 1 goal from the other team and you're straight to extra time. So I think from a Chelsea point of view, they would love to put themselves in a position where they're winning by more than 1 goal going into the second leg. The problem is, scoring more than 1 goal against Barcelona is...
Without reply as well.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. Or maybe you just need to be Real Madrid because they did it superbly a couple weeks ago. So Chelsea, they will believe they can get a good result today. I think it's very important for the Blues they give themselves something to fight with next week.
Yeah, I think if Barcelona get a massively... Chelsea have the benefit, are benefited by the fact that they have that second leg at home. So if today is a 1-0 win for Barcelona, I'd still have full faith in Chelsea to turn around. And I think that is the noticeable difference between this Chelsea team and the Chelsea team of old. As I believe this season so much in Bon Pastor and Chelsea, not that I don't believe in Emma Hayes, but I think there is a difference about this Chelsea camp, about the feeling amongst this Chelsea team this year. There's a bit more ruthlessness. They're not winning games by just outscoring oppositions. They're getting through them in a manner that is more akin to being Don and a bit more akin to being a title-winning team. I think there is more of an inevitability about Chelsea, especially domestically, than there ever has been. How that translates to Europe, it remains to be seen, because I don't think we've been as dominant in European competition. But equally, we've lost 1 game all season. And I think that's a really important thing to remember. And Barcelona, usually infallible, have 3 losses this year.
Well, yes, that is. It feels very small, but in the case of Barcelona, that is a massive factor.
It shows a fallibility, which we don't usually see with them.
And I think that it will be interesting to see how they go about today, because it's always. I always believe it's more difficult when you're at home in the first leg and you have to go away in the second leg. I think in knockout football, whoever is at home in the second leg is favoured. But Barcelona, I'm intrigued to see how they're going to play today. Do they go out and try and put themselves in a good position, play attacking and take the game to Chelsea and potentially risk being caught out? Or do they play conservative? Because at the end of the day, it is a 2-legged tie and they will know it's I don't think they can really afford to give Chelsea something to work with, because I think Bon Pastor has shown that belief in our players. We saw it in the second leg against Man City. We saw it in the FA Cup semi-final against Liverpool, where there were times where it felt that Chelsea weren't going to do it, weren't going to turn the games around, but Bon Pastor believed in her side and they got the results across the line. And I think that is key, that there seems to be more belief at Chelsea that they can go out and beat Barcelona.
Yeah. I think Chelsea today will set up very similarly to how we saw them set up in the Manchester City game back in November. And people will hate this comparison, but it's because the way Barca play is very similar to the way Man City played in terms of at least the build-up stage. I think there are definitely differences in attacking areas, but in terms of the build-up stage, it's very similar, and it's a bit more slow, a bit more patient. You wait for players to come onto you, and then you use your ability to be able to play through them. And the problem for Man City is that they weren't able to play through Chelsea. Now, obviously, Barcelona have incredible players, so that could make the difference there. But I think Chelsea will look to press them aggressively today. I think they'll look to win the ball back and turn the ball over high up the pitch, and that's where Chelsea will have the success, is by winning the ball in Barcelona's third, by turning over and then looking to spark an attack very quickly. So that'll be interesting to see whether Chelsea can turn over that ball successfully, how they deal with Barcelona playing out from the back, and how Chelsea then transition when Barcelona are able to find ways through. That's going to be really interesting to see today. As for Chelsea's attacking areas, I think Lauren James, a big loss, of course, not involved in this game or this tie at all, expected to be out for the season. I think in terms of James, the biggest thing we lose is that X factor. She's a player that can make something happen out of nothing. I think it's one of the biggest frustrations is that when Chelsea play Barcelona, we never seem to have a fully fit team.
Yeah, it will be a frustrating one for Chelsea. As you say, Lauren James is the kind of player that if you need something out of nothing, if you are struggling in a game, she can put it out of the bag. Everton at home in the FA Cup was a brilliant example of that. Last minute, the ball comes to Lauren James on the edge of the area, and she finds the wonder goal to win Chelsea the game. And that's what Lauren James can do in any game for any club she's playing for. And it is a big miss for Chelsea today, because if this was a 0-0 game and Lauren James gets an opportunity, she's the type of player that turns 0-0 to 1-0. And that is something that Chelsea will miss. I do think it hampers their chances. It does weaken that attack, because it's a game changer. And I think it's the biggest thing we talk about when we talk about Champions League semi-finals and the big knockout games, is those game changers. And Barcelona have got a handful of game changers. Chelsea, they've got a couple, but in Lauren James, you're probably missing their best and the biggest one.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Lauren James, I would argue, and I know Barcelona fans, if there's many watching today, will absolutely hate this, but I think she is the best player in the world. And again, I think it's an arbitrary conversation, because everyone's going to have a bias some way or another. There'll be Americans saying it's Wilson or Rodman. There'll be French people saying it's Wendy Renard. And there'll be Spanish people and Barca fans saying that it's Putellas or it's Bon Mati. But I think from a personal standpoint, Lauren James is the best player in the world, incredibly technically gifted. She can make something happen out of nothing. So for Chelsea to lose a player of that quality, and I know there'll be fans out there going, well, it's okay because we've got Wrighton, we've got Beaver Jones, we've got players who can come in and fill those roles. But there's no one like Lauren James. You don't have another Lauren James anywhere, because she's Lauren James. And so I think it is going to be a huge loss. But I do still think Chelsea have players in this team that will step up into those roles and perform. But that's not saying that they replace exactly what Lauren James brings you.
Yeah.
And it was similar last year, because there was no Myra Ramirez for the second leg. And I still think that was a huge difference, because you look at the way Chelsea set up in the first leg last year, and it was similar in the second leg, but the huge reliance was on being able to play the ball forward and having Myra Ramirez who the ball would stick to. That she was unfit. She wasn't fit for the second leg, so we didn't have Myra Ramirez. There was no one to hold that ball up, and so I think that was a huge loss, and it was a frustration that we didn't have that full strength side. Chelsea far from full strength this year, but I still have huge belief they can go and compete with Barcelona.
Yeah, it's a key battle. You mentioned Ramirez there. I think again in this tie, we look at Ramirez versus Mappy Leon and Paredes. It's something we've seen from Ramirez, not only, as you say, in the semi-final in last year, but in other games this season. The Chelsea Man City League game, Chelsea played a more conservative way, but they knew they had that reliance on the outball to Ramirez, and that's how Chelsea got the first goal, because Ramirez picked up the ball, bullied two centre halves off the play, and ended up scoring. And that's what Myra Ramirez can do, and she can step up in the absence of Lauren James to not create opportunities for Chelsea, but if she is handed a chance, Myra Ramirez will take it. We have already seen across the last year or so, Myra Ramirez put some of the best centre-halves in the world onto the grass, making them eat the soil, and that's what she does. She's an incredibly physical player. She's an absolute handful for any centre-halves on the planet, and that is something Barcelona are going to have to learn to deal with. They will take what they learned from last season, because, again, we saw the way that Leon and Paredes did struggle against Ramirez in that first leg. It's something they've got to be aware of, because if Chelsea get that ball in behind to Myra Ramirez, or she can hold it up and bully those centre-halves, that is a way that Chelsea can unlock this game and get themselves a little bit of control.
Yeah, indeed. Marcus says, great preview, guys. Happy Easter. This game will be a lot of action, but I feel Barca have a strong attack in the first half to get that jump on Chelsea and hang on to the win. Fair enough, Marcus. Interesting predictions in Garas. I'm fuzzy on why Fischel isn't in the squad, especially given James's absence. I think on that note, let's have a look at the Chelsea team. Well, both teams for today. We are at the Johan Cruyff Arena. Not the Johan Cruyff Arena, that's in Amsterdam. The Johan Cruyff Stadium in Barcelona for Barcelona versus Chelsea, and we'll start with the home side. 4-3-3 for Barcelona. In goal, Catalina Cole. A back four of Ona Battier, Paredes, Leon and Brooks. In the midfield three, Aitana Bonmati, Gallardo and Putellas. And a front line of Caroline Graham-Hansen, Eva Payot and Salma Paralluelo.
It's incredible.
Well, yeah, no, it obviously is, Harry.
But yeah, it's one of those sides when we speak about game changers, and Barcelona have got them in abundance. That front three are all is three players that can completely change a game. You've got Aitana Bonmati, Ballon d'Or winner. You've got Alexia Putellas, Ballon d'Or winner. These are players that over the last couple of years have led this Barcelona side to trophy after trophy, as you know, including 2 Champions League titles. So it's what in terms of the back-to-back years. So Barcelona, they've got players who know how to win it. They've got players who can single-handedly win them games like semi-finals. It's going to be tough for Chelsea to contain. It's world-class across the board. It's a very, very strong lineup. I think it's the correct lineup. They've got a lot of options. There were players that could have come and came in, but I think it's the right decisions with the starting 11 that Pere Romeu has named. It's full of class, and it's a Barcelona side who know exactly how to win this game, and if they can get the right players on the ball in the right positions, they will cause a lot of issues for Chelsea.
Yeah, a very good team. Do you think they lack some leadership, though? And I know there's still obviously some players that have been there for a long time, but I know people will disagree, but you're welcome to. Get involved in the live chat, give us your thoughts. But with no Bronze, with no Walsh, with no Mariona Caldente, that's 3 players who've been a huge part of the squad that's won many Champions League titles. And there are still leaders in this squad, naturally. But losing those 3 players must have an impact on the squad hierarchy and that leadership team.
Yeah, I think that to a certain extent, yes, as you say, to lose 3 or 4 of a Champions League starting 11 is never a good thing as a side, because it means, realistically, it usually means you've got weaker. But for Barcelona, they've still got the likes of Putellas in there as the captain. They've still got Leon, Paredes. It's full of players who have experience. I do agree. I think it's less experience than the Barcelona sides we've seen over the last 1 or 2 years, because they've lost, some more of the experienced senior players. But they've been replaced by incredible talents, and especially in that forward line, players that are coming in and causing all sorts of issues. So I think for Barcelona, yes, they've lost experience, and that could potentially hurt them at times this game. But equally, they've levelled it out with some incredible talents that are still playing world-class football.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm not doubting the quality in this side. Just questioning perhaps where that, if it is getting down to the dogged moments in the game, they have lost players in there who will pick the team up. And there's still players on the pitch who are going to do that. But I do think without Bronze, without Walsh, without Caldente, without players who've been there and done it before many times, I do think that weakens them slightly. But still a very strong team. And the players that are in those positions now are very strong. I think Paralluelo looks much better on the wing than through the middle. I said it many times last season. Paralluelo is not an out-and-out striker, much better in those wide areas where she can cut inside and create opportunities between the full-back and the centre-back, and that's something Chelsea will have to deal with today. What's in a lot this season is that Eva Payot's not really been the focal point of the attack despite playing that role. Often her movement will facilitate space for some of the wide players, some of the midfielders to get shots away. I mean, you look at the Wolfsburg game, I thought Payot really struggled to have any impact in terms of on-the-ball stuff, but it was her movement that drew space for other players. So I think their attack looks really strong at the moment, Barcelona. That's a huge thing. But then coming the other way, I think they have been more open defensively this season. A little bit too much overcommitment from their fullbacks. I think they do. I know Barcelona fans will disagree because they love Patrick Gallardo, but I do think in terms of controlling games, she's not a natural defensive midfielder in the same way that Kira Walsh is. So I think they do lose a little bit of their control. That's why they've lost 3 games this season, when normally they don't lose a match. So I think Barca have got slightly weaker this season, but I still think they are an incredibly strong team, of course.
Yeah, the other thing that hurts him is that we speak about those experienced players leaving. We speak about the top players that have been part of that Champions League winning starting 11. The problem is that 2 or 3 of them have jumped water and gone over to Chelsea, which boosts the Blues today. But yeah, Barcelona, as you say, they have looked really strong, but I still think in the UWCL, defensively they haven't really been tested, and when they have, like Man City did, they've ended up losing the match. So it will be interesting to see today, when that defence is put under pressure, how they handle this Chelsea front line.
Yeah, indeed. We'll get into the Chelsea team in a moment, but first let's have a look in the poll in chat, because I think we may have a few Chelsea fans in chat, which we love to see. 57% think Chelsea will win today. You love to see it. 36% Barcelona, 7% going for a draw. Make sure to have your say in the poll in chat if you haven't already. But let's have a look then at this Chelsea side. A slightly weaker Chelsea side than what we would have hoped to have at this stage at the competition, but still a strong team. In goal, Hannah Hampton, a back four, the usual back four of Bronze, Bright, Bjorn and Sondi Baltimore. In the midfield pivot, it's Erin Cuthbert and Kira Walsh. On one side, Carnreed, on the other, Beaver Jones. Vika captain in the 10 role and leading the line, Myra Ramirez.
It's a good side, but as you say, Chelsea are missing quite a few players, and again, that game changer element. No Lauren James, Guro Wrighton on the bench because he's only just back from injury. These are players that could make a difference for Chelsea. But overall, it is a very, very good side. It's a side that have made the difference in certain games. It's a side that have won these big matches. I think that Myra Ramirez, again, is an absolute handful. Aggie Beaver Jones has proved to be so reliable this season for Chelsea, especially in the big moments, scoring the winning goal in an FA Cup semi-final, being part of that 11 that beat Man City in that incredible turnaround at Stamford Bridge. Aggie Beaver Jones has become a force to be reckoned with this season and last season, and a big opportunity for her, starting on that left-hand side, to cause problems in a big game like a Champions League semi-final. But across the board, it's very, very strong. It's a defence that I think, a little bit similarly to Barcelona, really, has overall been very, very good, but at times this season, when put under a bit of pressure, that it has struggled slightly and it has faltered. These are two sides that have, at times this campaign not looked brilliant defensively, which could set up for a very nice game today. But I think that it could go the opposite way in this match, that both sides look to play a little bit more conservative, a little bit more defensively, and actually their front lines are the ones that don't look as good over this 90 minutes. But it's a good Chelsea side. It's a Chelsea side that is full of experience. They've gained 2 Champions League winners in Walsh and Bronze by taking them off Barcelona. So they'll be hoping that with the likes of those new recruits, they can try and take the game to Barcelona today.
Yeah, definitely. I know what you're saying in there, but the day I see a Barcelona team playing conservatively, I'm going to be worried about the state of football. But yeah, I think both teams will be a little more reserved perhaps from the start. I think it's going to be a really tight game. I think Barcelona will be well aware of the strength of Chelsea. But I think, the same goes the other way. Chelsea have got to be very mindful of how good Barcelona are and how to deal with those threats. And it'll be really interesting to see how Chelsea go about that. Bernie asks, Jack, what would be your Chelsea strongest 11 according to you? I'm just curious and love your takes. I think Guro, for me, starts on that left-hand side of Beaver Jones. It's a tough call because Beaver Jones has been really good this season. And I would make a good argument for Beaver Jones on the right wing, actually, over Carney. I think that'd be a really close one again. Lauren James, 100% starting in that attack midfield role. But perhaps on the left-hand side, because Chelsea do look to be playing a little more defensively today. I think captain in there, that's an obvious choice over Kat Macario, over a half-fit Hamano, over Shokanuskan. It's a really interesting call. But I think captain probably bridges that gap between having a proper attack midfielder or having a more defensive midfielder. I think it gives you a nice balance there, is why they've picked captain in that role. But if not, I'd have Lauren James in there. It'd be close to me between Ramirez and Kerr, which people may disagree with because Ramirez is really good. But for me, I just love Sam Kerr, so I think it'd be really difficult. And she's a big game player, and that can't be understated how important that can be. But yeah, I think that would be really useful. And then I'd have Germa in there if we'd seen her playing more. We've not really seen her in a Chelsea shirt, so probably would be, other than that, the strongest team.
Well, that's why I think that if Chelsea get a positive result today, they put themselves in a great position, because you could be looking at a second leg where Naomi Germa's back and ready, Guro Wrighton's back and ready, Micah Hamano's back and ready. So
I think even if Germa is fit, though, and plays the full 90 against Palace, which I'd expect, I still think Bjorn Bright is the partnership for next Sunday. So.
But yeah, I think especially in that attacking department, though, if you've got Wrighton and Hamano back, they're back in the team sheet. So I think that Chelsea, they know if they can get some sort of result today, they will battle. And again, I speak about that belief in our players and the belief in the squad. Bon Pastor, out of anyone, including the fans and players, will believe that Chelsea will get the result across the line. So it's a big 90 minutes where if Chelsea can come away with something, they set themselves up very, very nicely. It's the same with what Lyon did yesterday. They came away with something from the away leg, and now they go back home with something to hold on to. Chelsea will look to do exactly the same as Lyon did.
Yeah, I think, Phil mentioned, could be more neutral here. If Arsenal manage a miracle against Lyon, I'd need a week's worth of underwear for a final against either of these two.
Yeah.
Yeah, from a Chelsea perspective, I think I'd rather play Lyon, because if there's even a 1% chance we lost that final, I wouldn't want it to be to Arsenal.
Yeah, that is true. I think that I do find that Chelsea, I think that's another thing that factors this Champions League is the Chelsea-Arsenal rivalry. And that's another reason why Chelsea will be so frustrated that the Champions League keeps evading them, because it's the one trophy that Arsenal have over Chelsea, because they're the only English side to win it. But both English sides are gunning to get there, get to the final and win it. Yes, Arsenal are now at a disadvantage, but they're still in that game. So it's from a WCL point of view, it's really good to see that that we could potentially see an all English final. Now, from an entertainment point of view, that'd be terrible. But for the English game, it's really good to see both English sides going and challenging the biggest.
I think it would be entertaining though, because you'd have two sides with such a fierce rivalry, probably the fiercest rivalry in the women's game.
Yeah,
because a lot of the rivalries aren't particularly fierce. But I do think there is an extra bit of needle between Chelsea and Arsenal fans that isn't there with a lot of other rival clubs. So I think it would give you that edge, but equally, obviously, we've seen that game happen quite a few times. But yeah, not as much as we've seen Chelsea Man City though.
Yeah, that is true. I'm just glad that with no more Chelsea City this season. It's so refreshing to see.
Can't wait for somehow Manchester United get disqualified from the FA Cup and we get to watch Chelsea Man City again. A lucky welcome to the stream, feeling nervous. Aren't we all lucky? Aren't we all? Champions League semi-finals, they're designed to invoke nerves. They're designed to have you shaking, have you on edge before the game. But that's why we love them.
Yeah,
this is what we watch football for.
Yeah, and from a fan's point of view, you are going to be nervous for whichever side you're performing. I think that's something we've seen, probably for Chelsea, I think we've seen that across the last couple of years, that potentially the side have feared Barcelona. I see a difference this year. Sonia Von Pastor fears no opponent, and that is a big difference for me. Yes, Chelsea will understand that Barcelona are probably the better team, just slightly, but that doesn't mean they're going to go out and be scared of them and panic. It's a Chelsea side who, I look at it and they have that steely resolve about them. Bon Pastor, it doesn't matter what team she's managing, they will never fold over for any opposition. And that is something that could help Chelsea massively today.
Yeah, definitely. Players coming out of the tunnel now, though, so that means it's time for our predictions. Get involved if you're watching along in the live chat. Give us your score prediction. We'll make sure to look through all of them. Starting here in the studio, though, Harry, what is your prediction for today's game?
I think it's going to be a really, really close one. I think Chelsea will feel the importance to get a result today. Barcelona are a very, very good side and they will have the home advantage. I think it's two top quality sides that feel like they've got what it takes this year to win the title. For the first leg, I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go 1-1. I can't see anything separating these two sides. And I think we'll go into next week with no advantage to anybody. 1-1 over the 90 minutes. I think that Chelsea will take the lead through Myra Ramirez in the first half, and then they'll look to conserve, try and take that 1-0 lead back to Stamford Bridge, but it'll be a goal from Caroline Graham-Hansen to level it for Barcelona and take a 1-1 result to Stamford Bridge next Sunday.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's a very realistic prediction. I am always going to back Chelsea in every game, ever. So yeah, I have full faith in Chelsea to get the job done today, to get the result over the line. I'm going to say Barcelona 0, Chelsea 2. I'm going to go for a Guro Wrighton goal off the bench and a Myra Ramirez goal. I think Chelsea have got it this year. There's something about this Chelsea squad. There's a feeling amongst this Chelsea squad. I've got so much faith in them. So much faith in them.
Fair enough. I think that I do think Chelsea, as you say, I think they've got it in them. But the problem is they're playing against a side in Barcelona who have definitely got it in them to go and win this trophy again. And even if Chelsea are to win the tie, I don't see them winning today. I think today will be a draw or a narrow Barca win, but I think it will be level. I don't see anything to split these two sides at the moment.
Yeah. Now, Justin Williams asking, does Myra actually have good stats? Very good player on the eye, but is this materialised? What she put up this season in the Women's Champions League? In the WSL, 4 goals, 3 assists. In the Champions League, 3 goals, 1 assist. So much better in the Champions League than she's been in the WSL this season. What I would say, though, is, at least from memory, all her goals have come against the top clubs. She scored against Man City in the Champions League. She scored against Man City in the WSL. Yeah, she turns up in big
Yeah.
games. That's what Maya Ramirez does.
She does, but she's also a facilitator because of her attributes, her strength, her hold-up play. It allows others to get into the game, and it doesn't necessarily lead to goals or assists. You look at the Liverpool semi-final, Cuthbert's goal, Chelsea's first goal, it wasn't an assist, but Ramirez kicked it in the air. It came off a Liverpool player and fell to Cuthbert. That goal happens because Ramirez is in the box and she's terrorising the back line. So even if she doesn't get on the score sheet today, even if she hasn't got on the score sheet this season, she still had an impact, and Chelsea will look to use Maya Ramirez to get themselves into the match today.
Well, yeah, she scored against Real Madrid, Arsenal, City twice. They're the games she shows up for, these big fixtures.
Yeah.
And it will be Barcelona to get us underway here at the Estadio Johan Cruyff in Barcelona. The holders taking on familiar opponents in Chelsea once again. Barcelona to get us underway. Both sets of players before kick-off here taking a knee in a stand against all forms of discrimination. But it will be Barcelona to get us started. Eva Payol from the middle, waiting for the referee's whistle. And the referee building the suspense, building the tension if it needed any more building up. Now she blows a whistle and we're underway in this Champions League semi-final. Barcelona going from left to right. Chelsea looking to take the game to Barcelona in this Champions League semi-final. And it's Barcelona moving the ball forwards quickly here. Ball into the box from Ona Battier. It's bouncing around. Chelsea need to deal with this ball. Millie Bright hooking it clear. But early signs there of Barcelona's strength as they came forward well.
Yeah, Chelsea got to be careful of that. Barcelona are going to try and play fast and hit Chelsea early.
Indeed, physical battle there, but it is Paredes who comes out on top in that one against Ramirez. And that's a battle we're going to see a lot today. Ramirez against the two centre-halves, Leon and Paredes.
Yeah, it's an important one. And it's one of those where if Ramirez wins it, she can definitely get Chelsea into this game. So Chelsea playing into the sun first half, that is something that could have an impact today. I mean, I don't know why no one's got Hannah Hampton a cap, because at the moment she's watching the whole game with one, trying to shield her eyes from the sun, which isn't ideal. But it's something that could impact this game. It's an element that Barcelona will look to exploit while they have the advantage going forwards in this first 45. Whether it will be the same in the second half, maybe not, because the sun obviously will go down.
Love seeing some of the predictions still coming through. Yorty Francis, my favourite one, of Barcelona 0, Chelsea 6. If that happens, you'll see a report in the Sun tomorrow of man in Chelsea shirt running up and down the street.
I mean, if Chelsea wins 6-0 today, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't even think in an alternate universe that would happen.
There's one timeline. Captain, now bronze. Inside to Erin Cuthbert. Cuthbert under pressure, forced back to Natalie Bjorn. Now Cuthbert again. Bjorn. And that's a nice pass into Bronze. Bronze now with options to play through. Tries to slot through Carnareid, but that will run out for a Barcelona goal kick.
Big game for Carnareid because it's been an up and down season. I think that she started really strong. The season's kind of dipped a little bit. These are the kind of games, though, that if she can really get her teeth into them, she can have a massive impact on this football match.
Completely agree. I think that, though, is the totally wrong ball from Lucy Bronze. That ball's got to be chipped in behind, looking at the runners of Vika Captain and Myra Ramirez.
Yeah.
There's options in behind there. That's where Ramirez will harm them today. Will harm Barcelona's defenders running at them. Beaver Jones putting pressure on Bonmati. Bonmati does well to drive out of it. Now carrying the ball forwards. Finds Alexia Putas. Putas tried to play it in behind. Good defending from Bronze to knock it out for a throw.
Yeah, Chelsea can't allow that to happen too often today. Let Bonmati receive the ball and take it on the turn and bring Barcelona forwards. Too easy.
And drive past four players in the press.
Yes, too easy from Beaver Jones and then too easy from everyone in that cycle. They've got to be stronger onto Aitana Bonmati, because if you let her get onto the ball and impact this game, she's going to punish you very, very quickly.
Here is Bonmati. Beaver Jones close to her again. Ball's knocked wider into Hansen now. Baltimore standing her up. Good defending from Sondi Baltimore. Really nice penalty area defending there from Baltimore. Just has to stand her ground. Now Paralawelo. Bonmati, lovely reverse pass. Gallardo looking to make space for the shots here. Overcommitting from the midfielder there, and that takes deflection off Bjorn. Makes it difficult for Hampton, but she gets down to it well. Yeah,
a little bit messy from Chelsea. It all comes from Sondi Baltimore trying to shield a ball out that was never realistically going to leave the pitch. It was going way too slowly. And then Gallardo does well to send the dummy, gets a shot away. The shot was going quite wide, but Bjorn deflects it towards her own net. Hampton, no alert to it.
Barca have won the ball hard the pitch again here. Patrick Gallaro now. Cuthbert being physical to send her backwards. Here's Ona Battier. Now Hansen, back to Battier. Payor, Hansen, Battier. And Barcelona now looking for a forward pass. Gallaro into Bonmati. Bonmati goes wider into Caroline Graham-Hansen. Nice delivery from Hansen. Headed away by Natalie Bjorn. And now Captain will look to break for Chelsea. Taking on Gallaro here is Vika Captain. Nice drive forward to take pressure off Chelsea. Carneries, Captain, seen backwards though there by Aitana Bonmati. Paraluelo wins the ball high up the pitch here, and now Barcelona looking to make something happen. Paraluelo driving inside. Now back to Battier. Here's Bonmati, lovely drag back, but that does force her backwards as Chelsea keep the pressure on. Here's Ona Battier again.
It's incredible how decision making can massively impact this game there. Lucy Bronze a minute ago tried to burst past Paraluelo, and it's the reason why Barcelona are now on the ball. Yeah. It's won back well though by Bronze, and Chelsea are going to come.
Now Carneries will drive this ball forwards. Lovely run from the Swede. Finds Beaver Jones. A touch is poor though, and that breaks the Chelsea attack down. But that's a really nice sequence of play from Chelsea. And if the pass was right, if the touch was right in there, Chelsea were in.
Maya Ramirez was stood in acres of space, and if Beaver Jones had just trapped the ball, she'd have found her Chelsea teammate.
To cut her some slack, though, it was a difficult pass
yes,
from Carnery to control. And again, that's just where it's a little bit clunky in attacking areas at times from Chelsea. If that's a smoother pass, if that's a calmer pass, I think, from Carnery. I think it is those early nerves.
Yes.
If that's a calmer pass, I think Beaver Jones plays across to Ramirez, and Chelsea are in a really good position.
It's a little bit frantic at the moment from both sides, but especially Chelsea. They just need to get on the ball and play some football. It's another misplayed pass there.
Yeah.
But Chelsea have just got to relax a little bit because they're doing well. They're winning the ball back. They're keeping Barcelona in non-dangerous positions, but when they are getting the ball themselves, they're just being a little bit too wasteful.
Yeah, indeed. Gallaro unable to match Ramirez' physicality there. Captain slides through the Colombian, and now here come Chelsea. Ramirez standing up to Battier. Beaver Jones takes a very positive touch, but it's out of her grasp and into the gloves of Catalina Cole.
Again, completely understand. It's really good stuff from Chelsea, and I completely understand why Beaver Jones has tried to take that touch, because in other games against weaker opposition, that's a phenomenal touch, but it's almost too positive. Because
way too positive.
Yeah, you're playing against Barcelona. You've got to keep it close control. You can't knock it 5 yards in front of you and expect to be able to run onto it easily.
Yeah, it depends on the position, but there's too many players around it.
If there's no one near you, then knock it in front of you and run away. But in that penalty area, you've got to keep it close control. But better from Chelsea, Ramirez showing how threatening she can be.
She's bursting in behind, taking tiny touches. Here's Carnery. Dispossessed too easily there, and now Barca will look to break. Paraluelo tries to pass across. Cuthbert gets in the way. Walsh there, physical with Paraluelo. Ref waves advantage. Hansen now driving forwards, and that shot towards goal does take a deflection of Baltimore and is out now for a corner.
And it's a little nick off Sondi Baltimore, but it's a very, very important touch to take it past that far post. It's really dangerous from Graham Hansen. Cuts in, and I tell you what, for a minute there, I think Hannah Hampton thought that was going in. Fine margins, a key touch in there from Sondi Baltimore, but Barcelona early doors showing that if Chelsea are going to concede possession sloppily in the middle of the park, they're going to start to punish them. And they've got a corner here where they'll look to put the pressure onto the Blues. A lot of aerial threat for Barcelona.
And Hansen delivers it in towards the near post. Millie Bright is the first to get there, and that's out again for a corner.
I think that's important from Bright. We've seen it already a couple of times. Stepping in and getting the first touch. That's what she needs to do today.
Yeah.
Get that first contact on the ball. Make it a Chelsea ball. And just kill any momentum.
And Chelsea have got to assert themselves today without being too physical or just committing fouls like Arsenal did yesterday, and that was a close one, and there's a foul in there on Hannah Hampton in the aftermath. Ball goes to the back post. Paredes header on target. Hampton saves and then is fouled in the aftermath.
Yeah, Hannah Hampton, she does well to recover that because she initially spilt it a little bit, and that's why the foul comes in, because there was
This is shoddy marking.
Yeah, got to be better than that. Oh, it takes Nick off Bjorn. That's what catches Hampton out, but she does really well to scurry that up and stop Payor getting there.
And now there is a check. And I think it looked like it may have touched the arm of Natalie Bjorn. I don't think it had any impact on how the ball's moved. It would have gone into the gloves of Hannah Hampton regardless, but they are going to check it. And this would be an incredibly frustrating way to concede a penalty.
She's going to go. I think she's going to have a look. Oh, yeah, that's a penalty.
Going through to Hampton regardless. It is such an unfortunate one. Because, yes, it hits her arm. But it doesn't change the direction of the ball whatsoever. So it's just a frustrating one. It's an unnatural position. It comes off the arm. And VAR going to the monitor means only one thing.
She's taking her time to decide.
It is the smallest of grazes that has zero impact on how that ball moves.
It makes it more difficult for Hampton to claim it.
But she's going to give a penalty for it. Referee blows the whistle. VAR check complete. And she awards the penalty. Barcelona, as if they needed any more help, will get a penalty in the 9th minute. It's an unnatural position. It hits her hand. It's one of those where, just a frustrating one. Because there's no intention. It doesn't change the movement of the ball whatsoever. But there you go. By the rules, it's a penalty. It's the application of the rules that is the problem.
The problem is you can't defend like that in the modern day. It's a Champions League semi-final. You've got VAR in operation. You can't be defending with your arms so far out of your body from Natalie Bjorn. But a big opportunity now for Putellas to put Arsenal in front.
And a huge moment for Hannah Hampton to be the hero.
Yeah, Hampton's had this is a good chance to get herself a massive confidence booster. And if Barcelona score, it massively helps them. But if this doesn't go the way of Putellas and Hampton denies her, then that's a massive confidence booster for Chelsea.
Alexia Putellas from 12 yards. With a chance to put Barcelona ahead. And she'll take her time before stepping up to this one. Alexia Putellas waiting for the referee's whistle before stepping back. And now she'll step up to it. Dead straight to the ball. Move slightly to the right. Putellas from 12 yards. Takes aim. And it's saved by Hannah Hampton. A huge shot from the Chelsea goalkeeper. Putellas was too tentative coming up to strike it. And Hannah Hampton, the hero for Chelsea. It's a huge stop from Hampton. And play will go on. Barca players wanted something there. Because Putellas missed. Hampton with a foot on the line, though. It's brilliant goalkeeping. And Putellas denied from the spot by Hannah Hampton.
Wow.
Huge save. And that has reignited the Chelsea fans in the away end.
It is a terrible penalty from Putellas. It is a terrible penalty. But what a save from Hampton with the slightest of her boot still on that white line. Very fine margins, but a brilliant save from Chelsea's goalkeeper. And I said, that's a massive moment for a goalkeeper to deny one of the best players in the world from 12 yards in a Champions League semi-final. Has got to give Chelsea belief now. They have to push on. They've got away with one. It was an unfortunate penalty. It's a brilliant save from Hampton, but it's a really poor penalty from Putellas.
That is so poor from Putellas. Unexpectedly so from a player of that quality.
I'll tell you, that is so close to her foot being off the line. Hannah Hampton had the back of her heel just about on the white line. But if it's on the white line, it's on the white line. Exactly. It's a brilliant save from Hampton and a huge moment for Chelsea. The fact this game remains goalless is crucial.
Huge save. Absolutely huge save.
It's been a positive start from Barcelona, but Chelsea have got to use that penalty save now to push on and to motivate this 11.
Here is Paolo. Now back to Mape Leon. Gallardo. Leon. Ball into Putellas. Into Paolo, sorry. Now Leon.
And if anyone's wondering, that's why she's England #1.
Yeah.
Because if England gets the Euros and they need that, that's a huge save.
Indeed. Here's Esme Brooks. And Carney battling hard with her. And that ball finds its way through to Bjorn. Ramirez. Good hold up from Myra Ramirez. Now looking to make something happen. Finds Carnereed on this right-hand side. Carnereed delivers it in there. Head away, though, by Leon. Ramirez competes for it and wins it against Putellas. Bonmati, though, will be the player that comes away with the ball. And while it's charged down by Ramirez, who's covered half the pitch at this point, is then won back by Baltimore, who takes it off of Hansen. Baltimore still competing here. Hansen and Battier, though, do really well to work it between them. Out for a goal kick.
Maya Ramirez, whenever the ball gets near her, is causing all sorts of issues.
It's not. She's just running around.
This whole chance came because Chelsea just they press really well. They hound Barcelona. They force them. They get the ball over. Bjorn just smashed it up the pitch, and Ramirez just wins the battle with Paredes, flicks it around the corner to Carnereed, and Chelsea are suddenly away. And that's what I mean. Chelsea with that outball to Ramirez have a massive opportunity to get forward in this game.
Bronze here competing for it, and that was an aggressive but seems just about fair challenge from Gallardo.
Yeah,
now powered away.
Bronze flew in there at 110%, knowing that if she wasn't going to get to the ball, she was just going to.
Well, she got to the ball first.
Yeah.
And Gallardo must have got enough of the ball in the referee's book. It's difficult to see from the live pictures.
There wasn't a complaint from Bronze because she flew in there.
Lucy Bronze, she'll never complain for that.
Yeah, true.
Warrior. Beaver Jones. Now Baltimore pass inside to Walsh and slots through Vika. Captain slightly too much on it though, and that'll run through to Catalina Cole. But there was space there. But also got drawn out to the right-hand side by Chelsea, and there was space in the midfield for Kira Walsh.
Well, that's the thing. Yes, that chance didn't come to anything, but that space for Walsh should worry Barcelona. It's something that Chelsea have struggled most with the single pivot, is Walsh being under a lot of pressure. But there, she had the whole pitch to work with, and the ball was just slightly overhit. Understandably, she had to put enough on it to get through, but just a little bit too much, and it ran through to Catalina Cole. But there's been positive signs for Chelsea, positive signs for both sides so far. Really good opening 15 minutes.
Lucy Bronze carrying the ball forward here. Needs options. Great drive forward. Carnereed now competing for it in the box. Delivers it in there. That's headed away. It's going to drop on the edge for Cuthbert, who will keep this alive. Her and Walsh getting in each other's way there. Now it's with Bright. Here's Baltimore. Needs Beaver Jones to get wider there. There's no option down the touchline. Baltimore didn't want to overcommit because Bronze had gone high.
This is good for Chelsea. They're getting a foot on the ball now.
Aaron Cuthbert, really nice hold-up play. Now Bjorn. For the people asking why we can't stream it live, unfortunately, we don't have the rights to the Women's Champions League. If anyone has a few spare 100 million going, we'll get in contact. Ball down the line, looking for Beaver Jones. Now Battier, Catalina Cole. Header one in there by Kira Walsh. And now Paralaweda looking to drive away with the ball. Pokes it through. Chance now for Eva Payor. Bjorn will get back in there and hold her up well. Now Payor looking to try and recycle this ball.
Flag, yeah.
And he's flagged offside. Really good defending from Natalie Bjorn.
It's really good from Bjorn because it was an easy offside. Payor was a good couple yards offside. But it's the fact Bjorn steps up.
Close.
Oh yeah, it was actually quite close. But Bjorn steps up, plays her off, and then still manages to get back in and recover just in case she was onside.
Yeah.
Really good defending. But well managed by Chelsea.
Yeah, indeed. Chelsea will now play Walsh. Slots a pass into Cuthbert. Cuthbert now looking to try and find Carnereed. Carnereed not exactly on the same wavelength though. Esme Brooks will go back to Catalina Cole. And now fizzes a pass into Leon. Back to Brooks. 64% possession so far for Barcelona. That's no surprise to see. A team that like dictating and controlling the ball. Here is Cuthbert. Now Bright. As Natalie said, 400 people in the chat. Let's have a whip round for streaming rights. Baltimore finds Ramirez, tries to find Ramirez, can't quite keep it in play.
Flag goes up anyway.
Indeed.
But it's been really end-to-end, but you speak about 64% possession for Barcelona. That's exactly the same number that Man City had at Stamford Bridge in November in the game that Chelsea won 2-0. That's the way Chelsea are playing today. It's conservative, it's more reserved. They understand the threat Barcelona carry. but will look to hit them when they get the ball on the counter and spin that ball around quickly.
Yeah, indeed. Bernie's saying that penalty save felt like justice. Couldn't agree more. Because yes, that is a penalty. 100% is a penalty. By the law, that's a penalty. But I think anyone who plays the game, anyone who watches the game and analyses that with a neutral head, it's a frustrating application of the rules because it doesn't have a meaningful impact on how that ball's played. But that's incredibly difficult to determine.
It's why I like the thought of the review system that managers can have, because no one's seen that. No Barcelona players can play, no managers no one will review it, and everyone will get on with it. That'd be fine. But if a manager has somehow spotted that, or a player says that's a penalty,
because then VAR does what it's supposed to do. It cuts out the blatant mistakes, but that's not a blatant error. That handball doesn't have a serious impact on the play, or any impact at all. It bounces through to Hannah Hampton regardless. Hampton's going to try and get there, keep it in touch, does really well to do so. Bjorn deals with it in the box. Aitana Bonmati, it drops to on the edge. She passes it to Kira Walsh, and now Chelsea have possession. Cuthbert, an incredibly risky pass across the back line there into Lucy Bronze. Bronze now having to drive away from Paralawelo, which is a very difficult ask. Bjorn, back now to Hannah Hampton.
I like the confidence from Chelsea. Right. It did get a little bit scrappy in the end, but the two passes, Walsh, rather than smash it clear from the edge of her own area, played it to Cuthbert, who then decided to take a touch and play it across the 18-yard line.
And now Chelsea are recycling the ball really nicely, Bjorn.
I think, again, that's a difference from what we saw last year. Chelsea went to Barcelona in Spain. Yes, they won that game, but they were a lot more conservative.
That's a great ball in behind, looking for Ramirez, but again, it's going to have a little bit too much on it, and that will run through to Catalina Cole. What we're seeing as well early on here, Barcelona doubling up on Kira Walsh in the build-up phase. They know exactly who Chelsea want to play through. But because they're using Captain and Cuthbert in those midfield roles, it's more of a midfield 3 today rather than, Captain, when we don't have the ball, pushing up, so it forms a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
When they do have the ball, Kira Walsh is acting as that single pivot, and Captain and Cuthbert are pulling a little bit wider. And it's giving Chelsea options in build-up, which they need, because Kira Walsh isn't an option.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why Captain was brought in today, rather than having someone like Macario. And obviously, Hermano out injured is a big loss as well in that attack midfield position. Cuthbert does well there to take the ball off Battier and knock a ball out wide that Bonmati won't get to, and that's a Baltimore throw.
Yeah, neither side is completely settled. I think both sides are still struggling with that actual... Both sides are putting a lot on the ball. We're seeing a lot of passes run through to the goalkeepers or go off the pitch. Because when you do have that pressure and a little bit of nerves, you try and put more behind it because you're worried you're going to miss kick it. So you just try and...
it's also worth saying it's a slightly smaller pitch at the Johan Cruyff Stadium. It's not like ridiculously small. They're not playing on a 7-a-side or something, but it is slightly smaller. That is Messi defending from Chelsea, but it is seen out for a goal kick somehow.
Yeah, really good idea from Putellas. The initial fizz pass into Bonmati, and then the great ball. Bonmati takes it down perfectly and then just chips it into a corridor of uncertainty, and it did cause an issue. And I think Paralawelo would like to do better there because Hampton wasn't fully committed or convinced that she was going to be the one to get to that ball.
Yeah.
Chelsea getting squeezed by Barcelona and do end up losing the ball.
And that's out for a Barca throw. And a few Barcelona men's players in attendance today. Lamine Yamal, Pablo Gavi as well. And the ball won back here by Chelsea. Walsh. Now Millie Bright. And the ball goes back to Bjorn. Now Kira Walsh. Walsh bounces it off of Captain. Back to Walsh now. Here's Captain. Needing a forward pass. Forced back to Natalie Bjorn. Chelsea moving from right to left now. Bright. Manages to pick out Beaver Jones. Now Cuthbert. Cuthbert into Walsh. Walsh will try and lift that in behind for the run of Sondy Baltimore, and it's going to find its way there. Here is Baltimore looking to take on Hansen. Stands her up really well, Hansen. And Baltimore, nice drag back to create some space. Beaver Jones into Cuthbert. Cuthbert wanted to bounce a pass off Walsh there, but the ball isn't on. Here is Bright. Now back to Hampton. Really good out possession shape so far from Barcelona, making life really difficult for Chelsea, as you'd expect. Ball slid through, looking for Carnery. Carnery breaking into the box here. Brooks really strong in her defending. It's a mess, though, from Barca trying to clear the ball, and then it's deemed to have struck the arm there of Maya Ramirez.
Yeah, whether it was the arm or the pullback, either way, I understand what Brooks is trying to do there because she doesn't want it to go for a corner, but in that position, dinking it to your centre half is really risky.
I'm not sure what.
Soft, I think.
That's not a foul.
Yeah.
And Ramirez frustrated. Bronze does really well coming across the pitch there. Her pass though ending up finding Hansen.
So she picked out Hansen perfectly.
Forgot what she was playing for. Ball in behind, looking for the run of Paralluelo. She's going to be taken a little bit wide there. Now wants to take on Bronze. Bronze stands her up well. Shifts it to Puteas. He'll get the shot away, blocked by Bjorn and then hooked away by Bronze. And that will find Carnered. Carnered brings it down well. Bruggs on her back though. Needs some support here from players in that Chelsea cream. Ball forward. No one able to really get a foot on the ball at the moment, but it is Barca in possession now. Paralluelo. Into Payor. Now back to Puteas. Dealt with by Chelsea and Bjorn gets it clear.
Oof. It's one of those where it's incredible how it goes from Chelsea weathering the storm to then looking to come forward. But when Barcelona do have that ball, they cause a lot of problems, but really well stepped in by Lucy Bronze to win the ball back.
Yeah, Barca so far DAZN have shown the shot from range, and that's saved really well from Hannah Hampton there. And that's the difference a big goalkeeper makes. Because we saw yesterday for Arsenal, Zinsberger parrying shots like those. That's really well held. Really well saved and really well held by Hannah Hampton. But what we're seeing from DAZN so far, to paint a picture of how this game is going, is just looking at attempts of Barcelona and attempts of Chelsea. And obviously, Barca with a lot more attempts. This will slightly change the stats I was going to talk about. But Barca have had shots, but have not been able to put many on target so far. And Chelsea deserve huge credit for that so far.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Bonmati getting the space for the shot.
That's too
and
easy.
The game opening up a little bit more now.
Because if you let Bonmati do that 3 times, she'll probably find the back of the net in one of them.
Yeah.
We saw that last year in Chelsea's home leg, in the second leg. Bonmati got a half yard of space and she found the bottom corner. But that was well saved by Hampton. But Chelsea cannot afford for that to happen again in this match.
Cuthbert putting the pressure on Bonmati. Pass now back to Leon. Over Paredes, sorry. Here's Kathleen Nicole. Alex says Erin and Kira look headless in midfield. I don't think they've done too badly so far. It's a very difficult game to try and play through this Barcelona team. Captain's the one for me that I think is running around a bit too aggressively. She's going to tire herself out, and she also the Barca players just keep doing little drag backs, little fakes because she's running too aggressively towards them, so they can read her body shape and just feint and go the other way.
Yeah.
She's making it too easy for them at the moment. You'll see it again there. Paredes. Now Ona Battier. Under pressure from Beaver Jones. Paredes. Now Gallardo to Leon. Here is Paralluelo. Driving that ball forwards. She's going to be forced back there to Patrick Gallardo. Now Ona Battier. Handsome. Pokes it to Battier. Ball inside. Payor will hold that ball up, looking for some support. Nice turn from Ava Payor. Pokes on through to Ona Battier. Ball across the box. Chance of Barcelona. Goes through. Brooks back in the air. And that's saved well, claimed well by Hannah Hampton. But that was a mess again.
I mean, how no one in a Barcelona shirt has punished that, I will never know. It's brilliant play. Between 1, 2, 3 of them knocking the ball around lovely. The ball then goes straight across the Chelsea goal and no one gets a touch on it from Barcelona. And an issue here for Hannah Hampton, which will be concerning for Chelsea. But it's brilliant. The ball goes across the box. Now no one gets a touch. I will never know. Brooks just kicks up in the air.
Payor really should have made that.
Yeah. And Hampton does want to get there, but she has caused herself a problem with that shoulder. She landed.
She lands on it, I think.
Yeah.
Will be a concern.
This doesn't look great.
She's receiving some treatment. Obviously, Chelsea's backup goalkeeper is Rebecca Spencer. We've not seen her play for Chelsea.
Would you go Spencer or Cox?
Probably Cox.
Yeah, that's the problem with Musovic. Obviously pregnant. Chelsea really hope it happens okay, but it does not look good at all.
No, this is worrying.
And this is the type of thing where if you looked over and Musovic was available on that bench, it wouldn't be as concerning.
No.
But you're either throwing Katie Cox into her first senior start or Rebecca Spencer into her first ever start for Chelsea as an emergency goalkeeper.
Well, not ever start for Chelsea, but since she's returned. Yeah.
But in this team, the Champions League semi-final, real problem for Hannah Hampton here.
So she is going to have further once ever is Katie Cox, who would be coming on if she can't.
And that's continue. The thing. As good as Hannah Hampton is, Katie Cox with 2 100% arms is better than Hannah Hampton with 1 100% and 1 50%. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Thought you were about to be lobbing her arm off or something.
There's no point risking. Well, obviously,
if she can continue and
then take that risk. Yeah. But if it's serious, then just keep her for the second leg. But the problem is goalkeeper injuries aren't usually like a couple of days.
This will be worrying.
A good opportunity for Chelsea, the outfielders, to get a wording with Bon Pastor and to just have a moment's sake. We're already halfway.
Well, that's the thing. I was initially hoping it was one of those fake injuries that helped you get a breather, but the fact that she's holding her arm, the discomfort she seems to be in, the physios are now moving away, so it does look like she'll continue.
It looks to be. I think that she's taken some sort of pain relief and is going to play through it because that's the kind of game this is.
Yeah.
But it's not what you want to see. Because if she's now worried about diving to that right-hand side, that's going to cost, it could cost Chelsea. But she looks to be okay, Hannah Hampton, at least for the moment. They'll probably be thinking, give her something to deal with the pain for 15 minutes and get in at half-time and sort it out.
Yeah, just don't allow shots.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the new rule.
Do not let Barcelona shoot because she's really struggling on that left-hand side.
Now, for everyone asking why the game isn't on DAZN's YouTube channel, we're not sure. DAZN have always split games. So I imagine next weekend Arsenal-Lyon won't be on the YouTube and Chelsea will be. So, yeah, again, not a question I have an answer to, but that is just the way. That is the way it usually is with DAZN.
Yeah.
When they have Champions League fixtures, they'll put one game on, one game off, and then they'll change it for the next game week. They did the same with the other rounds.
Yeah.
Here's Cuthbert. Back now to Millie Bright. It's usually whatever game we're streaming, they'll put on YouTube. Luckily with this one, for us at least. Here's Walsh.
Yeah, Chelsea will just want to settle in, and you feel with your goalkeeper going down with a shoulder, with something on their shoulder. You've had a mini break there. She's just missed the ball, which under no pressure is absolutely fine. But that's the kind of thing that happens when you've picked up an injury. You think about other things. Yeah. Simple things go wrong, and there the ball had gone under her foot. Luckily, she was under no pressure. But this is why next couple of minutes Chelsea just want to sit in and just get on the ball.
There is Beaver Jones. And that ball's one half the pitch here by Barcelona. Ball poked through. Bright with a crucial intervention. And Bronze will work hard to keep it in play for Chelsea.
It's a big tackle from
Pass inside to Walsh. Space to drive into here for Kira Walsh. But her touch lets her down. Puteas wins it back. Here's Brooks. Now Puteas. And here is Mape Leon. Now Paredes. Carrying the ball forwards. Out to the right-hand side now with Onabatier. Lovely turn from Bon Mati. Is seen backwards though by Captain, and that allows Chelsea to get back into their shape as Barca move the ball back to Leon. And now all the way back to Catalina Cole.
Well managed by Chelsea. Captain has just calmed it down a little bit. She's not running ragged around there and just running after people. It's much more controlled pressure. Which helps Chelsea because it means it's more effective.
Bon Mati. Brooks, Paralawelo. One back in there by Carnareed. Bronze, and that comes off of the Barcelona fullback Esme Brooks. So it's out now for a Chelsea throw.
Right, Bronze just going to throw it up there and try and find Maya Ramirez, which I don't.
Paredes, big header to send it the other direction. Now Cap Team will head it on, and that's just going to be headed on to Paredes. 203 passes completed to 97 in favour of Barcelona. Carnery there was dragged back. Does well to hold on to the ball. Now a pass forward into Captain. Captain will drill a ball across looking for Viva Jones. An ambitious one though, and it doesn't quite come off.
Not sure that's the right idea from Captain at all.
I think again that needs to go in behind.
Yeah.
We've not seen a single ball yet that's been lifted in behind that's been the right weight.
Yeah.
For Ramirez to seriously chase it and give Barcelona some trouble.
Because anything, you take a bit off it, and if it doesn't end up going in behind and it ends up going directly into it, you still back her to win it.
Yeah, because she'll fight for it physically. Instead, they're putting too much on at the moment, the Chelsea players. Ball fed through, Payol in behind, chance of Barcelona, and that's 1-0, and it's a really unfortunate mistake from Chelsea. Barca players tripped over themselves, Chelsea didn't react, and it's poked through to Payol, and it's Barcelona 1, Chelsea 0. Just a frustrating one. The defence opened up, it was a real mess, and Payol in to score, and she finishes it off well.
Yeah, Barcelona do really well. They just seem to work it. Chelsea, it's really messy from Chelsea. Bronze falls over, and as she falls over, Paraluelo falls over her body on the floor, and it's just a tangle of bodies that no one seems to react to in a Chelsea shirt. The ball's fed through to Payol. Chelsea are asking the question of, I don't think Bronze is fouled in here, and it will be frustrating.
Payol's onside in the initial contact.
Oh, it's too easy.
There's a push in the back, but I don't think it's going to be given. And then they just can't react quick enough. The Chelsea back line to Payol.
Neither of Baltimore or Bright pick Payol up. It's just Chelsea having more alert than that, because they turn around and Payol's in to score, and she punishes because that's what she does. It's a really good finish to knock it past Hannah Hampton.
Yeah, it's frustrating because it's not one where Chelsea have been undone through Barcelona's play. It's just a messy situation.
Yeah, and they get caught flat-footed. No, if Bright or Bottom was on their toes there, they go with Payol and they cause a problem.
Yeah,
but neither of them really realised that she was there. She found the gap
right.
And punished.
Into Cuthbert, tries to spin with Bonmati on her back, and Bonmati wins it back. Putellas. Now Barca to Battier. Gallardo. That's a ball played in behind. Bjorn will see that back to our goalkeeper though. 10 minutes left of the half.
Chelsea just got to settle in now, because this is a big 9 minutes. They can't afford to concede again. Need to get into half time at the very least, being 1-0 down.
Yeah, need a goal really though. Hampton.
Yeah. But just need to get on the ball. Just have a couple of minutes where Barcelona aren't putting pressure on them, which is very difficult to get.
Looking now for Lucy Bronze up the line, who'll compete there with Leon. And that looked like it had gone. The Chelsea fans called for it. Not given though by the lino. Carnery. They're looking to take on Leon.
Tries too much, Carnery. Doesn't just it needs to make a decision and tries to take too many players on.
The foul's incredibly soft again though.
Yeah, Carnery's just grabbing at her though.
This doesn't do that though.
I know, but it's
you give the representation to make, but Leon has thrown herself on the floor there. Leon. Now Paredes. Battier. Into Hansen. Nice give and go between Hansen and Putellas. One back in there well by Bright. Now Baltimore. Ramirez holds it up really well. Sees off a few row challenges in there and just doesn't have the options to pass to.
Yeah, she's got no one. She's trying to beat off 3, 4, 5 plays. It looks like, you know, you're watching an action hero in a movie, just the way she's fending off all these attacks. But it's just she can't do that forever and eventually end up losing the ball there.
I feel like her strength and her desperation to hold on to it sometimes can be to her detriment. Because if she just flops to the floor there, it's given.
Yeah.
Because there's a few players who just rushed in with challenges. But because she's trying to hold on to it and she's using her body really well, and it's a great attribute. But if she just plays into the dark arts, which is exactly what Barcelona are going to do, it could be to your benefit. And Paraluelo tries to skim past Bjorn there, does so, but Bright comes across well.
Yeah, it's the first time where Bronze got dragged out of position and Barcelona looked to punish, but Paraluelo's touch just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, well, she uses her pace. If she gets past Bjorn there, another day she's just in because she's a faster player. But yeah, touch really poor. Bronze. Captain gets smashed into there by Aitana Bonmati. And rightfully that is a free kick.
Yeah, captain just looks to take it on the turn and Bonmati just barges into it.
Yeah. Bjorn trying to find Ramirez. Unable to bring that under control, and it'll bounce through to Catalina Cole. Now Paredes. Leon. Gallardo. Now Unabatier. And Barca will keep moving it around. Paredes. Now Cole. Leon. Finds Brutz. Bonmati. Lovely drive. Dancing feet. Moving through the lines of pressure. Here's Hansen. Bate on the overlap. Hansen will dart inside. Payor. Good hold up. Cuthbert though. Brilliant challenge. And now they can play. Chelsea tries to find Ramirez. Ramirez will batter with Paredes for the ball. Paredes gets it back to our goalkeeper though.
Really good piece of defending, but brilliant battling from Cuthbert to win that ball back. And again, just Ramirez wanted that one into feet, I think, that time, and that one did go in behind, and it was actually a good ball, but well recovered from Paredes.
There's one back in by Bright there, but the touch just gives it to Payor. Here's Puteas. Now Paraluelo. Puteas overlapping her. Now back to Paraluelo. Chelsea just caught out again. And that's going to drop to the edge of the box where Cuthbert can carry it away.
Chelsea
just too deep at the moment as well.
Too deep and not following the runners. It's how the goal came because no one switched on to the run of...
That is never a yellow card, right? Never a yellow card.
Ramirez goes in the book, not sure what happened.
There's small afters after the ball's played. It's not a yellow card. Again, though, it's just a sign of frustration. Ramirez is up there on her own.
Yeah.
Not getting a lot to use at the moment.
No, yeah, she knocks into her after the ball's played. I think it's a soft reverse yellow.
That's her first foul.
Yeah. And Battier knows what she's doing. She makes the most of it, but it's clumsy, as you say. It's just that frustration. She's running after it. She wants to get that ball back, so she just jumps in there trying to block it. And Barcelona a free kick, but with 4 minutes to go, Chelsea don't want to be giving away silly free kicks. Just need to hang in there. Just put themselves under a bit more pressure, and they didn't need to do that. Don't think they'll take this as a deep free kick, though.
And Engen warming up.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's not like that's even a right back change if Bate had to come off there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know she could do the job there, and they may well put her in there if it weren't. If they prefer her to Torreon, but
yeah. This is a big couple minutes now. I think Chelsea will just look to consolidate and get through, but Barcelona want a second.
Well, he says we're still in this. Absolutely, 1-0 is a very surmountable lead, but there's still 45 minutes in this away tie. I think that will be the biggest concern at the moment. Brilliant from Aaron Cuthbert, and that will give Ramirez something to give chase to. Oh. That is a blatant foul from Mafe Leon.
Think it has been given. No.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
She's not playing the ball whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
She's not even looking at the ball. She's barreled into her. That's a blatant foul and a yellow card.
Paredes goes for the ball and gets it, and I don't get that's
truly pathetic refereeing. That's an obvious foul, and the fact that she's just given a yellow card for Ramirez, who's actually competing for the ball on her first offence, whereas Leon, who's not even looking at the ball, just barrels into Ramirez. It's off the ball incident. Unbelievable that the ref hasn't given that. Not even a foul awarded for that. Here's Cuthbert. Moves the ball out to the right-hand side. Now Bronze. Now Carnareid. Wants to take on Esme Brooks. Does well to take her on. Leaves her on the floor. Pulls the ball to the edge of the box. It's going to drop now for Sunday Baltimore. Manages to fire it to Ramirez. Ball in there with Beaver Jones now. Baltimore takes aim. It's blocked.
Just a little bit scatty.
VR should check which part of the body that was with.
Little bit.
Now Hansen.
Baltimore just fired it in there and it just smashed Ramirez in the stomach.
Panicky. It's just panicky from Chelsea. They get the ball. Then the first time they've been in the Barcelona penalty area and they want to get a shot.
I don't know. I don't think if Baltimore, whether it was a cross or a shot, I think it was a bit of both. She didn't really matter. If she's either got to just lay that into Ramirez or dink it into Ramirez. Oh my god.
It's a blatant foul again.
Or she's got to drill that and then have a proper shot. She's just got to did a bit of both and end up just smashing it into Ramirez. But better from Chelsea.
Here's Cuthbert. Walsh looking to find Carnreed in behind. Brooks heads it down. Here's Paralluelo.
Chelsea really looking to find that right-hand side now. I think Carnreed proved there she can get the better of Brooks. It's a really nice piece of play. Oh, Bright, well jumped in.
That's really well. Gets the first contact.
Yeah, well managed by Chelsea. You'd expect at least a couple of minutes with the penalty and the goal and the Hannah Hampton injury.
Now that will be 6 additional minutes in this first half then.
Wouldn't have expected that, really.
Hampton was down for a few minutes, to be fair.
That is true. And we had a VAR check, and then we had the penalty, and we had a goal. So yeah, to be fair, probably makes sense.
Ball up the line, looking for Salma Paralluelo. Really good defending from Bjorn, who just stands her up and knocks it out of play. Justin says Mappy is the new villain. Oh, she's always been a bit of a horrible player in my book.
It's the dark arts. I just don't like. You see it from a few players.
Well, it depends what the dark arts are, but I think blatant fouls that you get away with. Hansen going close there, shot whistling past the post. I think blatant fouls, similar with McCabe, it's just blatant fouls that don't get punished. But Ramirez so much as breathes on someone and the ref's going to brandish a yellow card.
Yeah, good from Graham Hansen again. Too easy from Chelsea, letting her cut in on that left foot. Yes, the shot was wayward, but she's got the ability to just wrap that into the top corner. Chelsea have got to be careful. Still got about 4.5 minutes left of this first half.
Bonmati goes back to Onabatie. Now Paredes, Cole, Leon. And ball up the line there for Barcelona. Doesn't find anyone. Bronze does really well to keep that under her control. Now Walsh.
You can really see for Chelsea the players that are more comfortable in, you see in this game. You see Lucy Bronze there doing little flicks like you see in Barcelona players do. You see Walsh on the ball, looks very reserved and comfortable to be on the ball under pressure. It's good to see. I think it's just a cut out there for Chelsea where it's still a little bit scatty, still a little bit rushed. It's another good ball that Carnreed looking to cause a problem. Wins it back.
Brilliant from Carnreed. Now Bronze breaking into the penalty area, goes down under a challenge. No complaint though. Cuthbert taken out. And Bronze rightfully there questions why there's no card or no foul.
Bronze has just got to calm down there, but she's lucky she's not been booked. She's gone charging in there and shout at the referee. But
I get the frustration because that's much worse than what we've seen from Myra Ramirez, who got a yellow card for it, and it's not the first one we've seen from Bonmati.
Yeah, it just takes her legs out from underneath that. Really good from again though. I speak about the likes of Bronze and Watchalong. That's brilliant from Cuthbert. She's comfortable enough. She backs herself to try the little flicks and stuff. Yeah. That turn there has won Chelsea a free kick in a good position right at the end of this first half.
Yeah.
But yeah, the initial challenge on Bronze, it's not a penalty. It's a really good show of strength.
No, Bronze never claims for it.
Yeah. No,
I think the frustration there was that it's not a yellow card.
Yeah.
I don't think it was this far back either, but it's not really shooting range here.
Oh, blimey.
That's what I mean. It's right on the edge of the box, and now it's a bit of a distance. But Baltimore and Beaver Jones over it. Players queuing up in the box as well.
I think Baltimore will fancy it.
I think Beaver Jones is striking it, and Beaver Jones strikes it, and it's good, and it's saved brilliantly by Catalina Cole. And again, we talk about the difference a world-class goalkeeper makes. That's the difference. Really well struck. Free kick by Beaver Jones. Trying to catch them out by going low. Catalina Cole, though, reads it well and saves it well.
That's a really good save, and she tries to claim it, and she actually does well to nearly get it, because Beaver Jones, rather than go for the curve and trying to place it in the top corner, just drills it hard and low, and it's a good save from Catalina Cole. Chelsea coming on strong at the end of the half.
Ball into the box from Sandy Baltimore. She's not happy. But it's silly there, because that could have been very much been a penalty, because there's pulling from multiple Barcelona players in there.
Yeah, it's the old push and pull. You get in the penalty area every single corner. Ref, I'm surprised she blew it up that late though, because as you say,
Ball's gone into the box,
if she's released the ball, you give whatever happens.
Yeah.
Another chance for Baltimore then.
Ball in from Sandy Baltimore into the right sort of area. Bronze can't quite meet it, and that is out for a goal kick.
And that'll be frustrating that no one could get on the end of that, because Catalina Cole flapped at it and missed, and Bronze was just too close to it, couldn't get underneath it, and whizzed over her as well. A little bit overhit from Baltimore. Yes, it caused a problem, but
just needs someone at the back post. They need a runner at the back post.
Definitely. Good couple of minutes from Chelsea, and with that, they've nearly got to the end of this first half.
I think that'll just be a bit of frustration. They've not been able to turn this into a goal, because they have been the better side at the end of this half.
When you get chances, you have to take them.
Yeah.
No, Bright does ever so well to win that head-up sandwich in between two players. Cuthbert wins a seam of throw as well. Really good combativeness from Chelsea. Again, though, I still think there's a couple of players on this pitch who just haven't really got into the game and aren't as comfortable.
Cuthbert back now to Bright. Now Bjorn. Chelsea with 30 seconds left in this half will look to bring it forwards. Bjorn tries to poke it through, takes a nick off a Barca player, and that will be a corner. And a chance for Chelsea to make something happen right at the end of this half. We saw them just threaten from a corner a moment ago. Can they do so again?
Yeah, it's an unorthodox way to give away a corner, but Chelsea will get the opportunity. There is going to be a conversation here between the ref wants to speak to both captains. Not sure what this is about. Guessing is it just the generic pushing and shoving at the corner?
I assume so.
Yeah, this should surely be the last kick of the half.
And Puteas with I'm not sure what the symbol is. Ball into the box. Cole flaps at it again, pushes it away, and there's a foul given in there on the Barca keeper.
Yeah, it's one of those. When the keeper comes for it, or full stretch, doesn't get there, and she's under pressure, it's always been blown up.
And that is half-time here. Barcelona 1, Chelsea 0. And there is a worry here for Mape Leon. She is in discomfort, and we saw Puteas hold up 4 fingers over to the sideline and signal for a substitution. So I think that might be the end of the first. That might be the end of the day for Mape Leon there.
That is big, and that is why Ingrid Engel was warming up 5-10 minutes ago, because that was potentially an issue that Barcelona knew about. So a good first half over the semi-final. Big worry there for Barcelona right at the end of the half. Not only the injury, but Chelsea coming on strong in additional time there. But I think a well-competed first half. We had a penalty save. We had a goal for Barcelona. It's been very, very good. I think that you have to give credit to Barcelona. They deserve to be leading. They have been the better side. They've played some really good stuff in the attacking third, and it was a very well taken goal by Ewa Payor. But Chelsea, I think, slowly worked their way into the game, and we saw a couple of chances there at the end of the half that show that even when they aren't in the game, they can still cause some issues for Barcelona. But overall, a good first half, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a frustrating one. I think there were a lot of decisions that went against Chelsea, but I don't want to just sit here and talk about refereeing decisions all day, because that's not the interesting thing. We know the ref is always going to be a little bit interesting in Barcelona games, and we've seen that so far. But Chelsea have got to deal with that. They've got, you can't. The ref's not going to change in 45 minutes. You just got to deal with that. You've got to be careful in the tackles, because the ref is going to give a yellow card for everything. You've got to be strong, because if you get brought down, it may not be given, as we saw with the Ramirez one. So yeah, it's one of those where I think Chelsea just got to adapt to that physicality a bit. What we have seen is Chelsea be physical, be assertive in this game, and that's been really important. And I think Barca have struggled to create clear-cut chances. The only time they did was with a defensive mishap, and that's a really frustrating one because I think Chelsea defended really well, and the only time that those gaps appeared was when it was a real mess, when players tripping over the ball plays through, and it just catches Chelsea's defenders out. Payor, really good finish. Again, if you give a player like that sort of time and space, that sort of opportunity, she's going to put it away. I think Hampton came out a little bit laboured, but again, she's been struggling with injury since she went down on 25 minutes. So, yeah, overall, though, I think Barca started stronger, but Chelsea grew into the game, and by the end of the half, I thought Chelsea played the better stuff in the last 10 minutes. So, and that's what we want to see, a Chelsea team come and compete. And I don't think it's, people will say, similar to yesterday, Barca coming, looking the stronger side, but Chelsea battling back well. But I think that the key difference is yesterday, Lyon had huge chance in the first half. They should have really punished Arsenal for making those mistakes. Barcelona have had one chance. They took it. That's the clinicality. They had the penalty as well, but really soft penalty. A really frustrating penalty anyway, because it's not a deliberate or obvious mistake really from Chelsea. But that was saved by Bon Pasteur, so justice served there. But we saw Chelsea...
Hampton.
Sorry?
Not saved by Hampton, not Bon Pasteur. She didn't put the gloves on.
That would have been good.
That would have been brilliant. She subbed herself on. And to be fair, with the inexperience of goalkeepers on the bench, she might put herself in net. But yeah, it was a big save from Hampton.
As Frederick says, the referee quality is very bad. But we know that. We see that with every Barcelona game. We saw it in the semi-finals last year. When you play Barcelona, you know you're not getting the rub of the green with the referees. That's just how it is. It was the same back in the early 2000s or throughout the 2000s in the Premier League with Manchester United and Alex Ferguson. Dominant teams do tend to get the rub of the green with the referees, and Chelsea have got to learn to live with that because at the moment they're going to get more harshly looked upon for every time they touch a Barcelona player, and they aren't going to get the yellow cards. But what we saw with Bronze was that frustration coming into the game, and that can't happen. Just got to remain level-headed, even if the decisions aren't going to go Chelsea's way.
It's a type of thing that doesn't change. It won't really change the complexity of the game because it's not. It's, as you say, it's the rub of the green. It's not the incredible luck.
It depends, because if Leon is on a yellow card there, that stops her making another tackle, and that is a blatant foul off the ball.
Yeah, but I also think she injured herself by doing that. So
I think she was already injured anyway.
Maybe that's karma, but I think I don't think it will change the game drastically though. It's a frustrating thing. It happens. It's home sides. It's big sides. But yeah, I don't think overall. I don't think it's been a terrible first half. I just think there's been a couple in there. But as you say, it's about you have to be smart with it, a player. Don't put yourself in a position where you give the referee an opportunity. Ramirez didn't need to lump into Battier once the ball had gone. Bronze was very fortunate to not get booked for her reaction when she ran over to the referee and shouted at her. You have to be careful with things like that. Chelsea don't need to put themselves into those positions. But it's one of those. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Chelsea shouldn't put themselves in those positions, but the referee shouldn't impact the referee's judgment of it. So it's one of those. But overall, I think Chelsea will be happy that they have been very combative. I think they grew into the game. I still think there's a couple of players who just don't look pretty comfortable out there. I think Vika Katlin's one who, when we talk about that combativeness and that comfortability, I think Catlin is struggling slightly. We're watching the likes of Bronze.
She looks really panicked to me. I think with Vika Katlin, she keeps diving in to try and win the ball back, and it's resulting in Barcelona being able to play past her pretty easily. So I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea were looking at changes there.
Yeah, I think because you're watching the likes of Walsh and Brighton and Bronze and Ramirez be assertive. They're getting that first touch of the ball. They've got the confidence to play the risky pass and do the flicks, and we've seen that reward Chelsea at times where they've managed to play out of a difficult situation, or where Cuthbert won a free kick because she backed herself to turn on the edge of Barcelona's area.
Yeah.
Problem is a couple of players aren't matching that, and that is letting down Chelsea slightly. But it is overall Chelsea are doing well at competing with Barcelona, being combative and being quite brave. And it's the way that Chelsea scored in the semi-final last year. Erin Cuthbert was brave. She took the opportunity to take a turn on Barcelona's area and just had a shot from the edge of the box, and it went in. And that's the kind of thing that Chelsea need to come up with in that second half.
I do think it's been a little bit too reluctant, too timid in attacking areas so far. I think when Chelsea do get the ball, there needs to be a bit more of an urgency, a bit more of a desire to get forwards. Chelsea are defending really well at the moment, and I'm really frustrated with the way that Chelsea conceded, because that doesn't really fall on them. It's a a real mess of a situation where a few players trip over, and then Putas comes away with the ball in space and she slots through Payor. And yeah, you can say Brighton Baltimore should be more alert to that, but it's such a weird situation. It's difficult to really adjust to that. So yeah, frustrating. Maria says, I think Engel will be better on Myra than Mappe was. Yeah, probably. I mean, if she doesn't need to resort to fouling her, then yeah, I think Engen is probably a better defender than Mappe Leon. But so yeah, that will be interesting to see how that impacts the game. Either way, I think Chelsea need to do more to isolate Ramirez against those centre halves to get that ball in behind. There's been chances where Chelsea could have put the ball in behind, and either it's gone elsewhere or it has gone in behind and there's too much on it. So they're just got to be mindful of that and take a little bit off the ball or play it more often, because we know how Ramirez can really hurt centre halves, can really put them under pressure. And if you give her those opportunities, especially now with Leon off, I think that Ramirez will be able to latch onto that ball a bit more.
The thing is, if Chelsea change to a diagonal ball into the channels, that will solve both those problems. If Ramirez makes that diagonal run and Chelsea play the ball down the left and the right, not only will it put Ramirez into a space between the fullback and the centre half, rather than in between the both centre halves, so she's only up against one of the centre backs. It also means that if you play it into the corners, it won't just, if you overhit it, it won't just run through to Kathleen Nicole, who stands there and goes, well, thank you very much, I'm going to take that every single day of the week. Put it into the channels, put it into the corners. She's either got to cover a lot of ground to get there, or Ramirez is going to get into that channel and then be one-on-one with a centre-half.
And the problem is you keep giving Cole the ball in those areas where Chelsea's players haven't got forward, so Barca play out, and they've got time to then play through that first line of press, because the first line Chelsea's press in those situations is just Myra Ramirez.
Yeah.
And while she's doing very well, and we've seen her all over the pitch in the first half, Chelsea need to be able to be in positions where they can actually press Barcelona playing out from the back. We've not seen Barca play out from the back yet.
Yeah.
If I'm Chelsea in this first half, taking that kickoff, launch it, send it out for a goal kick, and go and pin Barcelona in. We've not seen Chelsea be able to do that yet because the ball's not been up there. And when it has been, it's gone out for a corner, and Chelsea have looked really dangerous in those situations. But we want to see Chelsea pressing Barca when Barca have the ball, because all of Barca's possession has been in settled possession. It's been in high areas. We've not really seen them have to build up. And I think when we see that, and when we see Chelsea pressing more aggressively, we'll see Chelsea turn the ball over half the field. So I think Chelsea have got to almost give Barca the ball a bit more deeper in the pitch to try and turn it over higher in the pitch for Chelsea, because Chelsea keep winning it back on the edge of their own penalty area, which is nice. But when you've only got Myra Ramirez up front, there's not really anyone to play to. They try and find her, and she's having to fend off 2, 3, 4 players at times. And so I think Chelsea need to try and turn that ball over higher up the pitch. But to do that, they've got to get themselves higher up the pitch.
Yeah, I do think it will benefit Chelsea, and this is no criticism of the likes of Beaver Jones and Captain, and who haven't really got in the game. It will benefit Chelsea once, I think, if Chelsea can get Guro Wright and Micah Hermano on there, because they're two players that not only, I think, are probably better quality on their day, overall they are better players, but it's that experience element, especially with Guro Wright, and I think Micah Hermano as well. We've seen Hermano, some of their best games, for Japan against the USA, against the big clubs, against Man City when in a Chelsea shirt. Hermano has looked really comfortable in big games this season. I think that's something they've got to help Chelsea. And Guro Wrighton, well, she is a big game player. She is a game changer. On her day, she's one of the best in the world. So if I'm looking at Hermano and Wrighton, if they've got half an hour in them, give it to them. Don't play them against Crystal Palace. Give him half an hour today.
I mean, if we can get Wrighton, if Wrighton still needs time to
potentially,
get match fit, give her 30, 40 minutes against.
I think if you're Chelsea, you're looking at not only them having an impact in this game, but building up minutes for next Sunday.
Yeah, for me, it'd be Wrighton on for Kana Reid would be a change I'd make. Hermano on, or Nuskin on for Captain. I think would be the changes you'd look to make.
Yeah.
Research work says Barcelona plays in a block. Chelsea players are sometimes far from each other. Well, that's just a difference in style. So Barcelona like to play really short passes, short, quick passes in tight spaces. That's where their players are really good at operating. It's also how they make it really difficult for teams to press them, because they are so close together. They just play a few passes and play out of those pressure situations. What Chelsea like to do is create a lot of width. So by having players wide, they're trying to pull this Barca team to and fro and open up space in the middle.
Yeah.
And so if they've got Baltimore pinned one side, they've got Bronze, or they've got Connery pinned the other, or vice versa. They're making it very difficult for Barca, because if their fullbacks go out, then there is going to be space in the middle. Or if their wingers go, then there's going to be space for players elsewhere. The idea is you stretch the pitch, you make it difficult for Barcelona to be able to cover all your options. You create spaces in the half space or in the middle, and suddenly there's options. So it's just a difference in styles. Barcelona like playing this tight, tidy, tiki-taka-esque style. It's not really tiki-taka because they're not just trying to control the game. They are a bit more transitional than tiki-taka, but it's a possession-dominant style of play. Chelsea's much more of a pressing style of play. They still like to play out from the back, but that's not massively what they're about. Chelsea are a lot more transitional than Barcelona. They also like to use the width a lot more than Barcelona do. A lot of Barcelona's attacks will come through the middle. You notice when they get the ball out wide, they tend to try and find a pass into one of the players on the edge of the box or a cut back to one of the players on the edge of the box. That's where Barca like to attack from. For Chelsea, they love to go wide. They know they've got height in the box, which is dangerous. They know they can get those cutbacks as well. And so they love to play in those wide areas, and they like to draw the space out of the midfield. Barcelona like to play through the middle. It's just a difference in style.
Yeah, that's the other thing with Simper and Chelsea, I think, has caused some problems for Barcelona, is that getting that ball wide and then bringing it inside. The Cuthbert won that free kick on Bon Mati because Chelsea knocked it out wide. Carnereed, another little dummy, lays it into Bronze, who makes the inside run. They bring it in field and they win a free kick. And I do think it is that quick changing from they spring on Barcelona, like getting it out wide, but then as soon as as quickly as they got out there, they bring it back in and put pressure on them.
Well, that's the thing. It's just how you view risk and the difference between the two. If you think about the way Barcelona play, creating chance through the middle is more dangerous because you're closer to the goal.
Yeah,
that's where the more dangerous is. But if you turn over the ball, Chelsea's going to be more dangerous on the counter charge. So that's how and it's all about how much you want to manage risk. For Chelsea, by playing out wide, if they lose the ball, there's less risk of a turnover hurting them. But it's also harder to score from those wider areas.
Yeah.
So it's just about balancing that risk and reward. I think if Chelsea are looking to, Chelsea aren't going to change up their whole attacking philosophy, but they will become a bit more aggressive. They will commit more players forward into those areas, which is then that risk and then pushing to go and get a goal.
Yeah, they're in a really precarious position. It's a very difficult position to be in a semi-final, in a two-legged game, because you're trailing and they're footballers. They're athletes. They want to compete. They want to win this football match. But you have to be careful over two legs, because if Chelsea go for it and they overcommit, then that will be very costly, because if Barcelona get a second goal tonight, it's going to make next week very, very difficult. We saw how it massively impacted. I mean, obviously it didn't in the end because Chelsea blew Man City away in 45 minutes, but the difference between being 1-0 down and being 2-0 down can be very costly in football matches. So Chelsea have to balance that risk versus reward.
That's what you need when you're down 1-0 at half-time in a Champions League semi-final. You need a shot of our boy Basil doing a superhero pose
with MB4 on some sunnies, loving the Barcelona sun.
That's exactly what you need to just a nice little break from the action.
That change does happen for Barcelona, by the way. So Leon does come off and will be replaced by Ingrid Engen. We expected that at the start of the break. It will happen, and it'll be interesting to see whether that will have any impact on this football match, because yes, don't get me wrong, Engen is a very capable player and can play at this level, but it's not the usual backline, and things like that can unsettle you sometimes. So that's something Chelsea will look to exploit. Big 45 minutes now left in this game.
Indeed, and the second half will be starting shortly. Tough first half, second half. Chelsea need to find a route back into this game if they want to take things level to Stamford Bridge next week, and it will be Chelsea to get us back underway in this game at the Estadio Johan Cruyff. From the middle, Myra Ramirez waiting for the referee's whistle. The referee's whistle comes, knocks it back, and we're back underway. Chelsea versus Barcelona. Barcelona leading 1-0. Chelsea with 45 minutes to try and find a goal. Barca looking to add to their tally and make things more comfortable as they head to Stamford Bridge next Sunday. Walsh. Now Natalie Bjorn. Pass into Ramirez. Ramirez holds it up nicely. Bronze now chipping it in behind. And Chelsea here with an overload. Captain trying to carry it forwards. Really assertive defending from Ingrid Engen. And now Barca will look to bring the ball the other way. Gallardo. Here is Aitana Bonmati. Finds Puteas. Brilliant from Bronze to pick up on it. Then a strong challenge. It's just not a foul.
No, it's the way she's gone in. You can't fly in like she's gone in, studs up very, very aggressively. And it's frustrating. She doesn't actually really...
She gets the ball. It's a
yeah.
clean tackle. There's nothing wrong with that. The ref is officiating there on whataboutism. If Bronze goes into the player and her studs are up, then yeah, the force is unnecessary. But she gets there, her studs are down. Nothing wrong with that tackle at all.
Yeah, it's a frustrating one because it's clean. It's clean. It's aggressive. But
It's just the speed that she's gone in there.
Yeah.
The ref's been spooked by it. There's nothing wrong with that tackle, and Chelsea won the ball high up the pitch there, and Captain's got the ball, and she could play it into Ramirez. It's a goal-scoring opportunity. It's a great chance for Chelsea, denied by the referee for no good reason. Out now for a Chelsea goal kick.
Yeah, important for Chelsea to settle in this second half and just find their feet a little bit. But yeah, they are. They're looking to start pretty well clearly, and Chelsea want to start fast here and try and hit Barcelona early doors.
And I see Lucy Bronze's Panamese fan club in the crowd.
Like it.
Justin says, I know for the fact Chelsea's going to win. They always win the second half. That is what we love to hear. A bit of confidence, a bit of belief in this Chelsea team, and understandably so. Chelsea beaten just once in all competitions this season. They'll be keen to ensure it doesn't happen again.
It'd be interesting to see what happens because 2 years ago it was Barcelona who took a 1-0 lead back home with them. They won the first leg 1-0. Last year it was Chelsea who took a 1-0 lead back to Stamford Bridge. So both sides have taken a lead in the first leg. Will be interesting to see who gets the upper hand across this next 45 minutes. At the moment, though, it will be Barcelona with that goal advantage.
Bernie says, I hate blaming the ref, but it's quite clear this isn't a good referee. I think it's Elena Dimitrescu having changed her name and got facial reconstructive surgery. It's the only explanation. I think Chelsea, I know they don't allow English referees to referee English teams, but I think Chelsea Barcelona should have Heaslip for one game and just see if the result is different. That's all I'm saying. Let's just see what happens. Puteas, Welsh competing for it. Bonmati now driving the ball forwards. Bronze does well to hold her line. Brilliant defending from Lucy Bronze as she steps in at the right time there. And then clears it into Bonmati to win a throw.
The other problem with the referee is that I'm not saying that she's less qualified or whatever, but because of the 4 sides left in the Champions League, it means you cannot pick a referee from England, Spain or France, which are probably the 3 biggest nations in women's football, and in terms of the promotion of referees that you get at the highest level. They are the highest level leagues, so you're going to have the higher quality referees in those 3 leagues. So the fact you can't pick a single referee from either of those 3 FAs makes it very, very difficult to find them. Not find them, but obviously...
Well, you've got German, you've got Portuguese officials.
Which all did Arsenal Leon that, and that's the thing you have to also find.
It's a Romanian on.
Yes, but also Portuguese. There was a crossover.
Oh,
that's the problem. Yeah, but you also have to find 4 different sets of officials for the four legs.
Give me Felix Break.
Yes,
such a good ref.
Danny Macaulay.
Yep. No, I get why they want female officials in the Women's Champions League. I think it is important to see that at the highest level, but there needs to be more qualified female referees first. But you'd think with them being at a high level, we'll see that qualification and that expertise come in.
I have to say, I think Carnreid has caused quite a few problems with Brooks today. I think Carnreid, she hasn't massively impacted the game, but when she's got on the ball, she's looked pretty sharp.
Yeah. The problem is she hasn't really got on the ball much.
No, that is true.
Here's Brooks. Heavy touch. Carnreid's got to punish that.
Yeah.
It's not a great touch at all from Esme Brooks. That one is.
I think Carnreid's honour for the touch isn't very good.
That's another harsh one on Bronze. She definitely got a little over the top with Paralluelo, but it's a harsh one nonetheless.
It's the fact that Paralluelo knocks the ball past.
The problem is Bronze has pissed off the ref now.
Yeah.
So she can't even breathe without the referee looking down on her. She's just got to be ultra careful. Brilliant pressure from Captain, and that's the one time Ramirez isn't in position to take it because she had to go and press the wide space. Brilliant pressure from Captain, though. And this is what I'm talking about. If Chelsea can press Barcelona in this final third, turn the ball over half the pitch, they'll get chances like that. And if they keep going like that, they'll get a chance to score. In the second half, been really disciplined defensive performance. And now, of course, the ball's in behind from Ava Payor. Barcelona going direct. Bright stands her up nicely. Payor tries to cut it back. Bronze is there to intercept. Hampton then clears it long.
Brilliant reading of the game from Lucy Bronze because she realises that if Payor tries to take on Bright, there's nothing Bronze can do about that. But she realises the other option Payor has is to cut it back to the edge of the area. So Bright comes inside, sits on the edge of the area, and waits for that ball to come in, and she's the one there to get there first and clear it away. Really good reading of the game, that intelligence.
Yusubaru says Agi needs to be brave when pressing. Every time she goes towards an opposition player, she slows down when getting near. Yeah, that is how you press. slow down when you're getting near the opponent. The problem for Captain is she keeps doing the opposite, but when it pays off, she wins the ball back.
Yeah.
The problem is when she doesn't, players are just walking past her. But yeah, you want to slow down so you can then move your body. You can adjust to what the player's going to do with it.
Another Barcelona corner, well cleared by Millie Bright. Again, though, that ball, Barcelona are starting to find that ball over the top a little bit more than Chelsea will probably like to see. But they're dealing with it so far. But the problem is you can't just keep relying on yourselves to deal with the problem. Once you get there, you have to try and cut it off earlier on. Ball in from Paraluelo. It's not a bad corner, but Bronze is there again. Bronze has had a brilliant game and really good strength to somehow not win her side of throwing.
Not sure either.
She gets back in and wins it back again. Oh, that's not very good though.
Gallardo wins a heart of the pitch, crosses it towards the back post, and that's out for a Chelsea goal.
Again, wrong decision there from Captain to try and play that out in that position.
Yeah.
Just gets it a bit wrong. There was a question from Puteas on whether this was handball from Bronze. No. It's not even in the penalty area. So
they are kind of
and it hits on the chest. But yeah, then Captain does well to bring it down and then just tries to play out and just doesn't put enough on it. I think Captain's got to get better at judging that risk and that reward. Good hold up from Beaver Jones. I think
really good from Beaver Jones. Good defending from Ona Battier though, and that'll be a Chelsea throw-in.
I don't know. Second half feels more open.
Yeah.
And
in the end of the first half, I think it's just carrying through now. And Bonpastor probably with a very good team talk at half time. Chelsea just feel like they believe a bit more now.
Yeah.
They've come forwards a few more times, still struggling to get shots away, still struggling to create chances, but a lot more confidence on the ball, and they've got the ball hard on the pitch more often.
Yeah.
Here's Natty Bjorn. Welsh with time to turn in there. We've not seen that a lot today.
No.
Captain Bjorn plays up the line, looking for Ramirez. It's taken a nick there and gone out of play.
Yeah.
Barca ball.
Just got it slightly wrong there, Bjorn. She's tried to curve it and play it in behind to Ramirez down the channel, which is the right place to put it, but just got it a little bit wrong. Oh, Bronze again. It's just, I like it. I don't mind that from Bronze. In the Barcelona half, you're trying to win the ball back, you're trying to get the first contact, ends up just knocking into Paraluelo.
Yeah, again, she's not on a yellow.
Yeah.
Until she is, I don't mind that.
Yeah. Again, though, if she could do that foul not 6 times, but 3 or 4 times, and you won't never get booked for it.
Baltimore. Beaver Jones tries to take a player on there, doesn't need to.
No.
Mbate won it back, and now Barca are coming forward. I do think Aggie's struggling.
Yeah, I think Beaver Jones and Captain, just the occasion, the game. It's probably the 100%. Biggest game those two have played in.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
Or at least she started in. Beaver Jones would have featured last year, but she didn't start in either game.
Baltimore tries to play a ball forward. There's not the options there. That one's just game management. Brilliant from Millie Bright. And she'll just drive this ball out for Chelsea. And that will go to Engen. And Ramirez is going to be right on her. Here's Paraluelo. I like that from Bronze. Because she's been on Paraluelo's back the whole game. When she steps off there, Paraluelo doesn't spin.
Yeah.
Because she's expecting Bronze to be there. So Bronze doesn't need to defend. She can just drop off a bit. And that stops Barcelona coming forwards. And then she's in a position to head that ball away. Here is Aaron Cuthbert. Knocks the ball out wide to Wrighton Carnarita, who found a bit of space. Ball goes up the line now, looking for Maya Ramirez. Ramirez up against Engen. Engen good defending. Knocks it back to Catalina Cole. Cole to Paredes. Chelsea's second phase press isn't there at the moment.
No, but that didn't quite work. That was better from Carnary. Right idea. Put it into the channels because, yes, Engen got there, but there was still a conversation between the two of them. If that goes straight down the middle, that would have been straight to Catalina Cole. So, Chelsea, the decision-making is getting better, which I think is helping them. They're becoming more confident, which is good on the whole. Been a couple of times where they're overplaying it, just like Erin Cuthbert, but Walsh there, but she's been fouled. So she gets away with it.
Here is Captain. Chelsea will look to play. Referee's not happy because she wasn't watching.
No, she wants them to play further forward. Fair enough. Yeah, anyway.
David Dave, thank you for the kind words. As you two are better than most TV pundits, I think. Maybe I'm just bored with the same faces on TV. Well, thank you very much for that feedback. A nice comment.
Few were shared there between Catalina Cole and Ramirez as Ramirez was pressing her. Catalina Cole kind of just grabbed each other once the ball was gone. Really weird moment.
Don't mind that though. Get under her skin.
Yeah.
And that's an ambitious ball out to Beaver
What a
Jones,
leg
but it
off.
is going to find her as Battier can't get it under her control. Baltimore now. Here's Beaver Jones. But that's where that risk taking comes in. You take a risk with the pass there. More likely than not, it's not going to come off. That's where the risk taking doesn't come off. But more likely than not, that pass doesn't come off. But it does come off, and it did create a chance for Chelsea.
But that's got to be better from Aggie. She's under no pressure to put that ball in. You've got, and it's not like an empty box. She had targets to aim for there, and just overhits it.
I had a squad of Chelsea players out on the sideline there. Naomi Girma, Kat Macario, Guro Wrighton. Lots of options for Chelsea off the bench. Walsh assertive there with Alexia Puteas. Referee has a whistle in the mouth the whole time.
Yeah. I think you're probably looking at Macario and Wrighton, I think, for me, for captain and Beaver Jones.
Baru says sub Kat Macario and for Aggie, Neve Charles or Neve for Aggie, so Sunday at left wing. I just put Wrighton on the left wing.
Yeah.
Over Macario or Sunday Baltimore.
Bring Macario or Nuskin into that other midfield role.
Depends on how attacking you want to go at this stage in the game.
Well done, Sunday Baltimore. Brilliant.
I'd go Wrighton on 60, then give it another 10 until you bring Kat Mac into attacking midfield.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a bit of steel, maybe Nuskin in midfield, but Cuthbert Walsh is such
either go Nuskin on 60 or give it 10 in bringing Kat Macario and go more offensive. Depends what you want to do.
Yeah. If Marno's fit, she's a nice bridge between the two and bring her on now, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be 100% on her being able to play today.
And I won't put her and Wrighton on because neither of them have played. So I wouldn't make both your impact sub players who have been out for the last couple of weeks or months.
Charles 70 minutes as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Just to refresh that back line a bit. Chance now for Chelsea. There's a foul in there. Ramirez goes on their ball into the box. It's just slightly over Aggie Beaver Jones. It's the wrong way round there. You want Beaver Jones delivering to
and
to Ramirez.
Again, it's another cross that's overhit.
Liam from Bright. She's been excellent defending Payor all game. The one moment that she couldn't was the when Barcelona scored. Other than that,
That was the really frustrating thing for Chelsea is there was one moment where Payor got away from Bright and she scores because that's what the best players in the world do.
They capitalise on weird
Chelsea
moments.
growing into it's overhit again. Chelsea and Cuthbert's frustrated herself and understandably so because that's another one. There's a couple of crosses that pass there where Chelsea are on the money and it's just overhit. Chelsea just needs to take a little bit off it.
And this is exactly the kind of game where Chelsea miss Lauren James.
Yeah.
Because Lauren James wins free kicks. Lauren James carries that ball forward. She does the things that people won't notice, but she does brilliant things, carries that ball forward. She may not have scored in the games last year, but she was still integral to the performance. If she was on the left wing today, she gets that ball down because you can play it into her feet and she'll take players on. You can play it into her and she'll carry that ball 40 yards. Can't read blatant foul there from Brooks, and it is eventually given by the referee after a bit of a delay.
Possession, by the way, percentage has shifted by 7%. It's gone from 64 and 36 to 57 and 43. Chelsea are working their way back into this semi-final.
What is the rest of the session with Chelsea wanting to take free kicks and then forcing it to play higher?
And when Bronze moved it high, now she can go back. There we go.
As Bronze says, what is this? Doing the hokey cokey. Ramirez. Good hold up. Goes back to Bronze. Now Carnareed. Tries to poke one through. It's picked off in there by Gallardo. Bronze will lift it in behind. Barca players would rather focus on the offside than Ramirez, who does really well to hold on to that ball. Brooks competes, though, to win it back. And that comes off. Vika Captain in there out for a Barca throw.
This game's become very even. It's just whether can Chelsea make the scoreline even, because that's the one thing that's separating the two sides right now. It's even on the field, but Barcelona still leading by a goal to nil.
Indeed.
And in a semi-final in leg play, that is absolutely massive. And now Barcelona are the ones going forward again, and Chelsea have just overcommitted slightly here. That is an overhit pass to Graham Hansen, who's very frustrated because she would have fancied herself.
Barca overhit passes are very rare. You've got to appreciate them when they happen.
Yes, and if that is nailed, and that's a terrible situation for it to happen. So we are seeing the double change on 60 for Chelsea, Guro Wrighton and Kat Macario. So Macario for captain. We expected this, and it should be Wrighton for Beaver Jones.
I was starting to say that myself. Bronze walking towards the bench. I think she's just getting a drink.
Yes. Yeah, these are the subs we expected, and it will be
Jones for Wrighton.
Beaver. Yeah. And they're the subs we expected. And this is good to see for Chelsea. Guro Wrighton back on a football pitch in a Chelsea shirt.
Exactly what we need.
And you talk about subs that might slightly scare you. Maybe not scare Barcelona, but overall, if you turn to the bench and you see Guro Reiten coming on a Champions League semi-final, that is something that should worry you.
No, exactly. Yeah, this is where I want to be cheering her name as she comes onto the field. Get me to Barcelona now. Cuthbert, Bright, we're able to keep that alive. Beyond as well, just to get that full forwards. Ramirez will compete for it. Ball knocked out of play there by Paredes, and then she's pushed it away. That is a yellow card. That's delaying the restart. The ball comes back towards the Chelsea player, and Paredes has knocked it out of play.
Weird one.
They're really smart, Barcelona, how they get away with it. I don't know if the ref just has blinkers on or is colourblind, but just whatever Barcelona do, they'll get away with. Love the support in chat. Love the amount of people saying that they can't see Chelsea not getting a goal in this game. Chelsea will keep pushing.
Oh, it really hangs in the balance now. And the thing is, in these kind of games, one goal here or there can make the difference, as Chelsea have learned over the last 2 seasons against Barcelona, by losing by 1 goal margins. So it's very difficult for Chelsea.
Indeed. Here come Barcelona. Ball played forwards. Bonmati. Matched up against Bright. Bright will see it out. Brilliant performance from Millie Bright.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal performance from Millie Bright today.
Yeah. Again, that's the experienced players, I think, have been Chelsea's best. Bright, Bronze, Cuthbert, Walsh.
People will blame her for the goal, but I don't know what more you want her to do in that situation. Yeah, she's flat-footed because that ball shouldn't be coming through there. It's such a weird and difficult to read scenario.
Yeah.
And other than that, Payor's had nothing to work with because she's been bullied every time that she's been near Millie Bright. Chelsea now goal kick again.
Yeah.
Less than half an hour to go. Ooh, a 1-0 Barca win isn't the worst result for Chelsea, it's a good result, I think, for both teams. But Chelsea will want the game to be level going back to the bridge, though.
Yeah.
Or for Chelsea to be in the ascendancy, because going to the bridge already a goal down is a very difficult task.
Mm. And in the Barcelona camp, they'll want more because they know that only going to Stamford Bridge, 1 up, puts you in a position where if all Chelsea needs is a goal and they're right back in the football match.
Yeah, if you get a reverse Demetrescu, that could be difficult for Barca. I'm still so convinced she's going to be the referee next Sunday. Just feels like they're obviously going to do that.
Oh, Macario gets it away with one there.
Cuff, but now Chelsea can tack down this right-hand side. Bronze with a nice positive touch. Ball now towards Carnery, who'll look to take on Esme Brooks. She's done well against her so far today. Carnery takes her on board and Sox takes a nick off Brooks. Punched away by Catalina Cole, still alive there. Guro Reiten couldn't quite fashion it into a shooting opportunity. Bronze touched it back to Bjorn, and Chelsea looking to recycle this now. Walsh, Bronze, wanted to play that wide. Paraluelo on her quickly though. Bronze across now to Bright. Options ahead of her. Slots it through to Guro Reiten. A lot on that pass though, and she won't quite get there. Ball goes out of play for a Barca goal kick.
Again though, Carnery getting the better of Brooks and causing problems to that Barcelona backline. Getting the ball in wasn't convincing by Barcelona. They do deal with it. And now the home side making a change of their own. Graham Hansen will make way for the UWCL top scorer as it stands, Claudia Pina.
Indeed.
Crazy, by the way, that the top goal scorer in the competition is on your bench. But a player that can certainly have an impact in the final.
Well, that's the thing. Well, Barca used her in a lot of the group games because the group stage was really simple. I think next season the Champions League is going to be really interesting because we're going to see big matchups in the group stage.
Yeah.
Because they move to the league phase format next season that we've seen in the men's game this year. I think that will be really interesting to see who pans out where. Ball to the left-hand side. Really good defending from Bronze there. It's obviously given against her. That one I don't think there's anything wrong with. And that's the problem now because she's made a few fouls because the ref clearly isn't a fan of her. Now soft ones are going to be given.
Yeah.
Brooks smashes the ball forwards. That will run through So Hampton, or maybe not, but Hampton out very well to head it away. Now Putellas, I thought that had more on it than it did. I think Chelsea thought it had more on it than it did, but Hampton came out well and dealt with it. Here's Claudia Pina looking to come forwards, gives it to Putellas, ball across the box, saved really well. Really good stuff from Hannah Hampton.
Another good stop from Hampton, and again, when Chelsea have needed her, she has massively helped them out, not just with the penalty save, but overall. Issue for Chelsea here with Erin Cuthbert. Not quite sure what happened here. Let's have a look. She wins the tackle. Oh, and just plants her knee wrong. Yeah. And that is slightly worrying to see. But well done, well dealt with by Hampton. Dangerous from Barcelona. Yeah. Oh, that's not a nice one for Cuthbert.
Doesn't help the push from Bonmati.
No. Pierced along the ball, along the box by Putellas.
And this will be a worry now for Chelsea and for Cuthbert. A really important player. It's the way Chelsea want to play. She did well to defend, to jump in front of Bonmati.
Yeah.
Stop her from turning. Bonmati just gave her a push. And now this will be worrying for Cuthbert.
Yeah. Again, though, opportunity for Chelsea to get some instructions in. Bonpastor talking with Carnreed and Ramirez. The back line just taking a moment.
Just such a strong physical presence in that Chelsea midfield, though. This would be a huge loss.
100%.
Yeah, that knee just goes.
Just buckles. And Chelsea with options obviously off the bench, but yeah, Cuthbert's been brilliant today. Really, really strong for Chelsea.
Been all season. Such a huge part of the way Chelsea play. You imagine Shokanuskan would be the option if she isn't able to continue. Lola Brown looking on concerned. Well, because they've driven out the medical assistant's car
with the stretcher on it.
But I think we'll walk off. But this doesn't look good for Erin Cuthbert.
No, it doesn't. But if they thought Erin Cuthbert was a goal for foot pitch on a stretcher, they don't know who Erin Cuthbert is. An absolute warrior. But even this injury might beat her. It's a really nasty one.
It's the problem is she's gonna plant it well, but it's the nudge from Bonmati. It just makes it more difficult to plant it, and she plants, and then it's planted horribly for her. She's gonna try and continue here, Cuthbert, but I don't think she's gonna be able to.
Absolute warrior.
She wants to keep going.
Of course she does.
Get a bit of that energy.
She'll keep running until the day she dies. Like she'll keep playing with Chelsea until she genuinely cannot continue.
For Chelsea. Kat McCara is just going to drop into the pivot for the time being until there's a decision made on whether Cuthbert will continue or not. She's going to try. Got to respect it from Erin Cuthbert.
Incredible.
Absolute warrior.
1 minute is a medical cart and a stretcher potentially coming on. The next minute she's ready to run off the pitch and she's playing again.
Into the action, Erin Cuthbert. Hopefully she's okay and not going to do herself more damage by trying to play through an injury.
Yeah.
But what a warrior.
Big 20 minutes.
Wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea just look at Nuskan now as an option.
100%, yeah.
Just get someone on there that just refresh that midfield and obviously give rest to Cuthbert. Brilliant defending from Baltimore. Pina still comes away with it though, and it's in. Hansen into Pina, and it's Barcelona 2, Chelsea 0. Baltimore with a good tackle. Hansen still managed to come away with the ball, though, across the box, and Claudia Pina scores. And that's a really frustrating one, straight after the injury, and the stoppage for that. And Barcelona have stung the Blues.
Chelsea just get caught out of position. Baltimore does get something on it, but not enough, and the ball is beautifully played across.
And the top scorer in this tournament adds another one to her tally. 9 goals in 7 matches. And this is why.
Really good play. Payor out on that right-hand side, cuts it across. Pina's onside. It might even be, to be fair, it might actually come off Lucy Bronze. The tackle from Baltimore.
Unlucky Baltimore gets on the ball and it hits back into Bathier. Ball into the box and no one is goal side of Claudia Pina.
Bright's quite out of position.
Too soft and just frustrating.
Bjorn's the closest. She's at the near post. She's just got to step in and deal with it. But again, flat-footed. And Pina reacts quickest, and that is a massive goal in this tie, because Barcelona now have a 2-goal advantage on aggregate.
Yeah,
and Chelsea
Chelsea need a goal.
Yeah, Chelsea had worked their way back into the game in this second half, But that's a big blow from Barcelona. An even second half.
Engum, Brooks, ball down the line. That bubble out for a Chelsea throw.
And now an even bigger 20 minutes for Chelsea because you feel they have to find a goal.
Indeed. Bronze. A trebuchet throw, throw up the line.
Oh, Macario, it's really silly.
No way is that a yellow card.
Yeah, going to the book for it.
That's her first foul of the game.
Yeah. It's a random one. Yeah,
it's an aside to how this game's been played, but the ref's been awful. Absolutely awful.
Yeah, it's been nothing glaring or obvious or terrible.
It's just like every 50-50 decision is wrong. That's just barely
it's not a yellow.
Not a yellow card.
The foul, it's not a yellow card. Or if you've given yellow cards for all the others, and that's absolutely fine. But we've seen 2 really weird yellow cards given out.
Yeah, and then we've seen decisions like Leon barging players over off the ball. The Bonmati one was a yellow card. If these other 2 are yellow cards, that Bonmati's a red one. But Bonmati should have been booked for that tackle. We've just not seen those, and the yellows we've seen to Chelsea have been really soft. And again, Putas going down under pressure there from Walsh.
Creeping in. Walsh just pulls her back. You don't need to do that there. You're jostling her well. You don't need then to be just grabbing her shoulder and just. It's just over the top, a little bit over the top again.
The problem is Chelsea are giving Barca the excuse to throw themselves around.
Yeah.
And you can't do that because Barca will just do that.
Oh, really good from Macario.
Macario does well. Ball out to his left-hand side. Baltimore gets a strike away and it's in. Barca 2, Chelsea 1. Great effort from Sunday Baltimore, and Chelsea want to get the ball back because there's belief now. Barca trying to slow it down. Chelsea with a big goal. Sunday Baltimore strikes it well. Barca 2, Chelsea 1.
She scored an absolute beauty in the quarter-final second leg against Man City. And that is another one.
Brilliant from Macario. Yeah. So physical. Gallardo tries to foul her. She doesn't care about that. Wrighton leaves it expertly. Brilliant from Guro Wrighton to leave this ball. Let it run to Baltimore, who strikes it well. Not closed down quick enough. Kathleen O'Cole with no chance. And Chelsea with a lifeline in this tie.
That is an absolutely incredible strike from Baltimore. She could have not hit that sweeter.
That's the upside you get with playing a winger at fullback. You end up with a player in that position who can strike a ball into the bottom corner from that area so comfortably, so sweetly.
I love Niamh Charles, but she does not hit a football like that. That is absolutely incredible from Baltimore. She's only scored 2 goals in the Champions League, but they've been absolutely massive goals for Chelsea.
Both been brilliant strikes, both been incredibly important.
That's important because Chelsea have reacted really well to that Barcelona second goal.
Indeed.
And now we're
15 minutes left in this tie here at the Johan Cruyff Stadium in Barcelona. And Chelsea have that bite back, have that belief back. It's Barca 2, Chelsea 1. Carnegie competing for it out for a Barcelona throw, apparently.
It's a tough one to see for the lineswoman, to be fair. But
not for red and blue tinted glasses it is. Here's Pina. Coming forwards, and that's really good from Bright. Read it like a book, and now Chelsea can look to come the other way. Carnegie, really good defending from Brooks to stop her progressing. Putellas now. Goes to Brooks. Back to Alexia Putellas. Gallardo. Running out of room and running it off the pitch. That's a Chelsea throw-in on this near side.
Huge 15 minutes now. That momentum in the second half has just been swinging back and forth, and now it is with Chelsea.
Chelsea have got to use this game state change. They've gone from one where they're 2-1 down, from 2-0 down to being 2-1 down. Belief is back. They're within a goal again.
That Sunday Baltimore strike is absolutely incredible. She's just on a mission to win goal of the tournament, I think.
Possibly.
I don't think it's been Natalie Bjorn's best game in a Chelsea shirt. I think she struggled a little bit today. Especially, maybe it's a bit unfair because when you compare it to the sensational performances from Bright and Bronze, it does look worse. But I do think she struggled slightly.
I think as well compared to her other performances in this competition and for Chelsea this season. But I don't know why Baltimore, why Bjorn is there. But it's a good challenge.
Yeah,
I don't know
good
why
point.
she's there.
Because if she doesn't win it, she's massively out of position.
But both the fullbacks dropped, so it was all right.
Bronze is on the
Bjorn,
charge.
great drive. Multiple fouls in there. Thank you, referee. Claudia Pina, the first Barcelona player into the book. It took him 76 minutes.
To be fair,
But it's her first foul.
to be fair to Pina, that's really unfair.
It's the only player it doesn't make sense to book.
It's a pullback, but I mean, Bronze.
It's stopping a counter-attack.
What does Bronze do? She gets a pullback and she makes an absolute meal of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Brilliant.
It's exactly what we've been complaining to Barcelona about, but that's what's got to,
You're
not getting a free kick
She
by trying to
throws
stand on
herself
your feet.
forward. She knows she's never going to kick that ball, but she swings at it to try and make it look like she's trying to play the ball.
Smirk from Bronze.
Yeah. She knows she's now found the meta, almost, to how to win a free kick.
Just get near a Barca player, throw yourself on the floor, and this ref will be all over him.
Yeah, Macari's got to watch it. Sloppy.
Okay.
Just what happened there with Brighton Baltimore were thinking 3 passes ahead. And they got that one wrong. Because they were thinking, right, if I give this to Baltimore gives it there and we end up attack, but they didn't get the first one right.
Yeah.
Chelsea need to just relax slightly, but use the momentum, but don't use the momentum and get a load of adrenaline and just go hell for leather. Just be reserved. Because in the circumstances of going 2-0 down, 2-1 isn't a terrible result.
Here's Aitana Bonmati. She's forced back twice, but finds Patrick Gallardo and they can keep this attack progressing. Nice drive inside from Salma Paraluelo. Here is Puteas. Now Pina takes save well by Hannah Hampton. And Pina just couldn't quite get around that and to hit it cleanly with her right foot. Clear doesn't back herself on that left foot.
Good save from Hampton. Well judged by Bronze to just find a way to shut off as many options as possible.
And this is worrying because now Hampton is down.
Oh no.
No. Bjorn is down.
Bjorn this time.
Chelsea have Naomi Gurma on the bench today. Fit and ready to play if they need her.
What happened to Bjorn? Oh, Baltimore. Sondi Baltimore. That is clumsy on the edge of the area. I don't know whether it'll be looked
Gallardo
at.
complain for it. We're not seeing a replay of that.
No.
We're just going to see the same replay of Hannah Hampton's brilliant save. But VAR not looking at it. I'm not sure there was enough in it to say.
And the fact that
definitively
it
if that's
doesn't
a penalty.
impact the ball,
Oh, yeah.
It's silly from Baltimore. It's really clumsy because, again, you put the referee in a position to make the decision, but it doesn't impact the play whatsoever.
No, similar to the penalty one earlier.
Yeah, we're going to play them. Big 10 minutes now. Chelsea only trailing by a goal, 2 goals to 1. Bit of showboating from Hannah Hampton. I think Chelsea believe now they can get back on level terms, and it would be huge if they did.
But yeah, Chelsea just going to delay here until Bjorn is ready to continue, really.
But Hampton is going to have to kick it.
And
There
she
we go.
does now. Launch it long. Brighton, the one under it, tries to win the flick on. It's going to drop in there. Bonmati wins it. Bright, though, quick sent it the other way. Ramirez now to put pressure on Gallardo. Bright, though, wins it again. Macaro gets that down well. An aggressive challenge from Paredes, but it's clean and she wins the ball. Brooks to Pina.
Ref still hasn't called Natty Bjorn back on.
No idea why. It's been ample time now.
Can't really jogging the right back.
Unless she's receiving treatment off pitch.
Yeah.
But then why have they taken her off the pitch? This is game management. You don't take her off the pitch if she's receiving treatment.
No.
And Chelsea at the moment playing with a handicap of fewer players.
Yeah.
Bonmati. Either Bjorn isn't able to continue, in which case Chelsea needs to smash this ball out of the Johan Cruyff Stadium as quickly as possible. Or why is the ref not waving her back on? Bright smashes it out.
You can let that go.
Out for a corner, though.
But again, it's where Chelsea can be smart. Give away a silly free kick in Barcelona's own half. Do something. Just to...
Yeah, the problem is it's the panic. It's the fact that there are... The Gurma is coming on.
Yeah.
Bjorn unable to continue. There's 10 players on the pitch. But why is the medical team taken off Natalie Bjorn in that situation? They know she's not going to continue. That's unbelievably small-minded. You just got to think about that one. Game management. And now Big moment for Naomi Girma. We've not seen her. We've seen her play 45 minutes for Chelsea so far.
Yeah.
Other than that, she's been struggling to return from injury. Now she's back in the biggest game of Chelsea's season so far.
Wow. Welcome to Chelsea, Naomi Girma.
She's £1 million player. She can
is.
come in and deal with that expectation. Ball goes into the box. In towards the back post, and it's there. Paredes wins the header. And that's Barcelona 3, Chelsea 1. And that's frustrating. Again, it's another goal for Barcelona that comes after a stoppage. Chelsea don't deal with the ball into the box. I don't know who was supposed to be picking up Paredes. Whoever it was, though, doesn't pick her up. And Barca have restored their 2-goal advantage.
It's a massive goal. It is a really big goal, and it'll be a frustrating one to give away. It was a needless corner to be given away in the first place. Scuffed clearance by Bright. And then no one. But I mean, Paredes is in absolute acres at the back post, and she was never going to miss from there. Just no one's gone with her. No one was with her.
No one was marking her.
No.
It's Bronze's player, but Bronze is nowhere near her.
Yeah.
Ever.
Was there?
It's the second time she's failed to defend a corner.
Yeah.
The first time we got away with it because Paredes headed it down to Hampton. That should have been a warning sign. Bronze nowhere near her player there. Nowhere near her. And Paredes heads it home and at point blank range, Hampton with no hope. But that is criminal from Lucy Bronze. Nowhere near a player. Trying to defend a header heading backwards on the run. It's unbelievably naive. It's unbelievably poor. For a player of that experience. To make such a high-profile mistake in a moment like this. And Chelsea's momentum brought into this by getting a goal back is taken away. And now Barca are coming and looking for a fourth. And this would be game, set, match if Barca can find another goal. Paralluelo takes aim. This one's blocked and into the gloves of Hannah Hampton. 7 minutes though. Chelsea up against it seemingly now.
Well, that's the problem. Chelsea in a position where they really need a goal, but they can't afford to concede again. So they're in a really tough position. Big block that from Walsh that just took all the pace off it and Hampton could claim it. But Chelsea now in a really difficult position. Because what do you do?
Now Girma. Chelsea got to settle and get back in this now. Bronze pokes it up the line. I touched that down there and that invited pressure. Chelsea looking to press high.
Chelsea really haven't got Ramirez involved in this first half and second half.
Here's Claudia Pina. Rolfo again. Now Gallardo. Puteas. Pokes the ball out towards Claudia Pina. Girman's got to get across and defend. Bronze is flagging now. Chelsea as a team are flagging. They just look tired. Carnery's got to get back in, defend Rolfo. Ball towards the back post. Baltimore heads it back across their own goal. Hampton saves, just need to get to the final whistle because Chelsea are knackered seemingly.
Yeah.
Absolutely run into the ground. And Barca have made so many changes. Chelsea's have been made 2 attacking changes and 1 forced by injury.
Yeah. You see there Chelsea trying to get back in transition and just fail to do so.
Carnery, great drive and a great ball out wide. Here is Guro Wrighton. Players queuing up in the box. Great low delivery. Brilliant though from Paredes to read it. And now it's a Chelsea corner.
Chelsea still looking dangerous when they come forwards. The problem is they look so vulnerable defensively. But when the game was open, that was when Chelsea did enjoy themselves. So that's what they've got to try and do. And again, if they can get the deficit down to 1, that is a much better position to be in. They've already done it once today. They need to do it again.
Aaron Cuthbert, ball in. Head away by Rolfo. No Chelsea player challenging for it, really. Good defending from Barca. Baltimore to Cuthbert. Baltimore gives it to Walsh. Too far back here for Chelsea. It needs to be recycled. Carnery. All the way back to Hannah Hampton. Unbelievable. Just too slow. The decision making wasn't there for Chelsea. And no one wanted to make a decision. No one wanted to put that ball forward. And we need a goal.
Cuthbert loses it too easily in there, tries to turn with a player on her back, and now, caught in 6 and 7, did Bonmati looked up there, Chelsea be in trouble. Should have seen Pina as an 8 as Germa came across, naive defending. Macario. Nice turn from Welsh.
Long 4 minutes plus additional. Long remaining time for Chelsea. They've just got to get through it. Cannot afford to concede again.
Carnarade. Pass inside looking for Wrighton. Not quite going to get there. Ball cleared away. Here's Paraluelo.
Barca no. Barca smell blood. They know Chelsea are struggling.
They know if they get another one, then
Yeah.
the tie's done, really.
Because Chelsea's scored winning.
The problem is Chelsea know that as well, and Chelsea are panicking. They're going to slow this game down, though. Changes coming. Nuskin on.
For Ramirez.
For Myra Ramirez. What? That's
Macario up
yeah,
front.
I guess.
To be fair, Ramirez hasn't really got involved second half.
No.
Barcelona going to make a change of their own in a few moments. Not quite now, though.
Bronze. Just kicks it out of play.
You can't be trying the audacious stuff when you are in difficult position. You know, when you aren't at your best, when you are struggling. Well, Barcelona's change is going to happen now.
Vicky Lopez coming onto the field to replace Paraluelo, who predictably will take their time coming off the field.
Give everyone a high five. Have a lovely day. Turn around.
Yeah.
Do some star jumps.
Just come from the far side of the pitch. Again, how the referee has allowed that is beyond me. But at this point, it's not bad for Chelsea. They don't mind slowing this game down because they just need to get to the full-time whistle now.
Yeah.
Without conceding again.
100%. And you still expect to see 5, 6 added on. Quite a couple injuries in this game. Bronze overruns it.
Going. It's like when she conceded in the World Cup final to Spain. Why is she driving inside there?
Chelsea got to work now. Work for the last few minutes.
Engen sends it up the line. Rolfo's in behind. I don't know where our right back is. Brilliant from Baltimore. Bright will get it out.
Why is she
So
running
I don't know why we're running out of the penalty area.
What a miss.
It's over the bar. But if that goes in, the game's over. Where is Lucy Bronze? What is Bright doing? Get the ball out of the box there. Quite simply, if not, this tie is done. What is Bright doing there? Where is Lucy Bronze?
Bronze.
No man's land there for Bronze. If she's not fit to play 90 minutes, get her off the field. How is she not running at 88 minutes?
Massive let off for Chelsea. You'd expect Payol to do better there. Barcelona coming forwards. It's an absolute barrage now because they know they're one goal away from practically being through to the final.
Pina. Putellas back to Pina. And it's 4-1.
Really
abysmal from Chelsea across the board. Too much space, too open. Hampton left out the dry. Chelsea, the tie's done going into the second leg. You know you can't afford to play like that against Barcelona. Too open defensively today from Chelsea. They've fallen apart in the last half an hour here. Absolutely fallen apart. And now they need a 3-0 win against a side they've beaten once in their history, and that was 1-0. Tragic defensively from Chelsea. How that gets through Bronze and Germa, I'm not sure. But it's too open. And it deflects in off of Millie Bright. But Chelsea have just started to panic now. And the game's opened up and it's Barcelona 4, Chelsea 1, and this game is as good as done.
Yeah, Chelsea didn't punish when they had the chances, and defensively, Barcelona, they've made it too easy for them. And when you make it easy against a side like Barcelona, they will take full advantage. And Pina makes it 9 for the tournament now. 5 minutes additional time. Chelsea find a goal and they give themselves something to do, something to work with. But the problem is, the worry would be they concede a 5th. But away to Barcelona, you cannot afford to concede 4, but it looks like it's going to be 5 at this rate.
It's just so open. Chelsea players have stopped running. I don't know why Millie Bright keeps trying to dribble the ball out either. No. It's 4-1. Get the ball out and take it to Stamford Bridge. It was 3-1, I believe, but 6s and 7s now.
Chelsea just look.
Players aren't running for it anymore. I can't believe it. It's the Champions League semi-final. Bust a gut. If you go down injured, fair enough. But players jogging back, players refusing to track back. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's why they're losing. You're playing the best team in the world and you're refusing to run. You're getting caught out of position. It's just awful.
It's so.
At 2-1, 3-1, you can look at the game and say, you know what, you gave them a good game. You competed. The referee, abysmal, but not having a huge impact. You get it 4-1. It's just on the players and the setup. I don't know what has happened here for Chelsea.
I don't know what this has evolved in. It's so open. So open. Baltimore steps in well again. But
the belief's just completely gone.
Wow, so that's offside called, the late one. But Chelsea just got to get through the next 2 minutes. But yeah, Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth will never experienced this because Leon never did this and that's why they won trophies because they never turned up at the home of the best team in the world and didn't perform.
They've never fallen apart like this, no.
No. Really bizarre to see. Barcelona, you have to be correct.
Full voice, aren't
They've played very, very well. They've 4 well-taken goals. Pina's come on and been absolutely brilliant at the double. Lovely play for the 4th goal.
Gurmat tries to find bronze. That's how to play from Pina.
But Chelsea have allowed them to play that way. But again, though, it's game management. In the rush and the panic to try and get it back to 3-2... You risk conceding a 4th, and that's what
third should never have been conceded anyway.
No.
Nuscombe from Rays, that's blocked.
You can't do anything of 4-1 in a semi-final. You can't lose 4-1 in a semi. We said the same thing with Wolfsburg. It's going to have to
be an almighty remontada.
We said the same thing with Wolfsburg in the quarter-final. How can you turn up and lose 7-1 in a Champions League quarter-final? Same questions for Chelsea today. How can you turn up in a Champions League semi-final and lose 4-1? Doesn't matter who the opposition are.
Decent delivery, no one in there to meet it. Too close to the keeper anyway, but the effort's gone for Chelsea. The effort's not been there for Chelsea today. And they competed. They competed for 60 minutes. They competed for 70 minutes. And then the last 20 minutes, it's been abysmal. Utterly abysmal. It's just shameful. Utterly shameful. To concede 2 goals, 82 minutes, 90-minute goals. That's awful. Last 10 minutes at 2-1, you play for your home leg.
Yeah.
You don't ship 2 goals to Barcelona in that manner. Too open.
Naomi Girma.
That's a blatant foul from Putellas.
Naomi Girma there.
An obvious yellow, but it won't be given.
Was higher than 5 or 6 Chelsea players. It looks really lost out there. Really lost.
Yeah.
I think if you asked Lucy Bronze where she was right now, she couldn't tell you. Because her and Chelsea have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen weirder things happen in football, but it's going to take something mighty.
That is full time here at the Estadio Johan Cruyff. Barcelona 4, Chelsea 1. A shameful performance for the Blues as they failed to compete with Barcelona really in that last 10 minutes. And they ruined 80 minutes of hard work with it. And now, Chelsea with a mountain to climb at Stamford Bridge next Sunday. A real mountain to climb. We thought Baltimore had brought Chelsea back into the tie, but just as quickly as Chelsea fought back into it, they cowered back out of it. A frustrating performance. We'll be back in the week to review it all. UWCL review tomorrow. Champions League coming Tuesday, Wednesday. We're back next weekend with more Champions League coverage. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. It's been a brilliant stream. Most viewed stream in our channel's history, so thank you guys for that. I hope you have enjoyed the broadcast.
whether you're of a Chelsea or Barcelona persuasion. I have a feeling if you're of a Barcelona persuasion, you've had a better time this afternoon. But I hope, regardless, our coverage has been good. Other than that, thank you very much for joining us. That is all, and we'll see you next time.